I'm realizing things tag on. That's just the quote that you get initially. The things pile up.
Right. So, did you happen to touch any of the major things like roof and siding? Because I'm flipping in Detroit right now, and some of my biggest expenses are roof and sidings and windows to that point as well. So do you know about roof, siding, windows, mechanicals, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, roof is 9 years old,
Okay.
and I think furnace is 2 years old. And there were some windows that were changed. Let me see. There were some windows that was changed like 6, 7 years ago, and then I had an inspection report from last year when I purchased it that they mentioned it. Yeah, but there was a new furnace in 2025 last year, new electrical panel, like 2 years old. I think the only thing that's old is the hot water furnace.
Okay, hot water tank. And then
But yeah, hot water tank, yeah. But the roof is new, and I wouldn't say new, but it's not. It's like around 9 years old. And what else is remaining?
now is yours, I'm looking on Google Maps right now. Is yours the one that used to have the red kind of deck with a cream colored siding? Is that it?
Do you want to send me a picture? I
Yeah.
tell you
Well,
about
let me,
it.
because I'm just trying to, because there's so many houses really close here. Let me know if this is the one that I'm looking at, because I don't have a ton of photos, but here's one right now. Yeah, that should be coming through any moment. Let me know if that's the one.
That's not mine.
Oh, that's not the one. Okay. Well, I'm glad I
It doesn't look
asked.
like mine. It is the one that has a porch
Okay, I'm gonna send you
and
the.
a separate like a stairs on the side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's 1018. That's 10. There's 1014. Is this one 101? 101? No, that's 1008. Man, I'm having a hard time finding this thing on Google. Let me know if this is it. Here's another one right behind it. Look at that one there. Is that the property?
That looks like it, yes.
Okay, got it. Now, this photo was taken in 2023 from the Google Maps car. You think the roof was replaced before 2023, 9 years ago, as you said?
Yeah, yeah. So like not 2017, I want to say.
Okay. Just as a flipper myself, I can see that
Uh-huh.
this is a roof at the end of its life. Do you kind of see what we're looking at? Because that photo is 2023, and then right there, it's kind of looking pretty rough. And now we've had about 3 years from then. So I would imagine that when we send this to the lender is going to ask us to put on a new roof, and I'm going to send you another picture of it right here. Looks like we're missing some fascia on the side of the house as well. So check this out. We got some moss growing on it. And then I always kind of evaluate a roof by its texture, like how much texture we actually have on the roof. And we can see here that it's starting to get pretty smooth. So I'm a little concerned about that if I'm being honest. Is that something you're willing to fix, or you kind of want to sell it as is?
Well, I have no idea how much these roof cost, but
About
I have
12.
an inspection report from when I purchased it. Let me see what it says, because it's from the inspection report. It didn't look like it was near the end of its life, but you are saying it's end of the life.
Well, you see the photos I just sent? The photos kind of illustrate
I actually wouldn't know because I don't know how to look at the roof.
well, you see the
I'm gonna be
moss,
honest.
you see the moss growing on the roof.
Yeah.
You know, a new roof, I'll show you what a new roof looks like. Your neighbor happens to have a new roof, but this is what a new roof would look like. I'll send you a picture of that right here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what a brand new one is going to look like. And that's probably the biggest expense in the property next to the windows. So I would say if we're to get top dollar for this, I probably would need the roof to be fixed on this if that's what it's looking like in 2023, which is 3 years ago. There's kind of what the neighbor's roof is looking like. So I think I could make you an offer, just less what I'd have to spend on the roof, or we could do it the other way around where you have your contractor throw on a new roof.
Okay.
Yeah, it says not confirmed.
I sent you a pic. Yeah, I sent you a photo. It says estimated to be 8 to 10 years old, but the life is around 15 to 25 years old, as per the inspection report.
Yeah, it looks like it
That is what
says
I see.
monitoring recommended. I guess deterioration is observed on portions. Yeah, I see. I see what the inspection report says.
That's from 2025, so last year.
Yeah, it's just sort of what I'm seeing from the photos on Google. Okay,
So,
well, what are you looking to get for the property?
So I did have two of the realtors go in. It's not done yet. It's not finished just yet. But they've run comps like within 0.75, 0.6 miles. They're seeing anywhere from 145 to 160. So one realtor said 140 to 150. So I have this wide range of 140 to 160. I think that's a pretty big range.
Got it. Okay.
But the other houses, my house has a buildable lot right next to it, which I own. So either I'll sell it separately or included in the listing. And then I have a finished basement, which other nearby houses do not have.
Oh, cool.
And then the square footage on Zillow shows 1556, but my appraisal report shows 1902.
Got it. Okay.
So these are things that I do want to get it corrected, and also want to mention to whoever's interested, and I can send that as well. But this is where I am. But I know if I put it in the market, there will be realtor fees and whatnot. But I'm looking to, if I could get anywhere from 135 to 140 net, I'd be very happy.
Okay. I think
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I think I see some of the comps you're talking about here. I just pulled the MLS report here that shows all the comps.
Yeah.
And it just goes down. So I just sent you the whole list of comps. It has 13 properties within 0.3 miles. Most of them are within 0.1 miles, but this is 0.3 miles of your house. And oh, interesting. It looks like it says duplex. Is this a duplex or a single family?
Well, it's a duplex because the basement itself is a separate unit. It has a separate entry, separate bathroom, everything separate.
Does it have 2 meters on it?
I don't know. No 2 meters, 1 meter.
1 meter on the property. Interesting, because I see it being recorded as a duplex. But yeah, it kind of goes to the list right there. And what I'm seeing is, as we go down it, 140 being the highest sale in the area. Then we have a 139, and then if I look at the $140,000 property, looks like it's a commercial property. It's not even like a comp for this. And then we've got this 139.
I think he told me, the realtor that went out, he told me he did a 0.75 because there wasn't really a 5-bed 3 with a finished basement type of nearby. So he had to kind of expand his. I think one of them was 1047 Lane Street, 1064 Lane Street, I think. That sold for I think 150. There was another one on Manchester Street, which is I think less than a mile. That was also sold for like 158. And then there were a couple ones. Let me see what he texted me. Give me a minute.
No worries. Take your time.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another one, 790 Ruth Ave, which is 5-bed, 2-bath, sold for 151, a bit smaller than mine. So this is, there were, like, if you expand it a little bit, which has a bit more comparable ones in terms of size. That's, I think, what these two realtor based it off of. And there was another third one who was a bit lower, and he said 140 to 150 we said we can go start with 149.9, and then we could go till like depending on seller's concession, negotiation. Expect to sell it for 145.
Sure. Okay. So realtor might list for 145, maybe an offer come 149, and then maybe, nowadays we're in a buyer's market. And there's just so many more sellers than there are buyers right now. So I would imagine somebody gives you a reasonable offer of 140. Realtor's taking 6%. So 140 less 6%, you'd be walking away with about a 131.6. I think if I'm gonna wholesale this and push it to a buyer, the roof may or may not come up. There's some discrepancy there. I don't really know what's gonna happen. But I do see a lot of the sales happening around 140. I think if I'm gonna make this interesting to them, it seems to me that somebody would offer you 140 on the market. The realtor's taking 6%. You walk with 130. I think I'd shoot my shot at something like this at around $120,000 just to wholesale, acknowledging that we may have to do something to the roof and then also fixing that hot water tank that you talked about.
120, I would be.
Because what I'm doing is I'm wholesaling this. So I'm not taking title on the property. I'm passing it off to somebody else, and I'm stacking a 5K fee on it. So if I'm at 120 with you, buyer's paying 125. And I have to tell you that I think you already know that I'm a wholesaler. I own my own properties, but I also do a lot of wholesale. So that I'm seeing a lot of sales in the area going on from anywhere from 130 to 140. So I think that's probably what we could get for it. As a wholesaler, if I'm pushing it to some investors and we do have to do a little bit of rehab, I'm probably a little closer to 120.
Okay. Yeah, 120, I'd be honestly taking a loss and quite a reasonable. For me to net, I would have to be at 130. But 120 just would not cut it.
I get it. So your game plan's kind of list with a realtor and then get asking price at 140.
I thought you might have a buyer who might just purchase it and rent it out for now and then collect to, I don't know, Section 8 or whatever I thought you might have a buyer. I would get rid of the, going to the market and paying realtor fees and waiting. And I thought if you had a buyer, I might be able to get anything like 135. I was hoping in the middle, but 130 is big. I can be transparent. 130 and below, I'd be taking a loss.
Okay.
This is a weird situation. It was my first property, but I was able to turn it around, renovate it fully, and plus the other properties, the finishes. I'm doing LVP. These guys have carpet. I'm doing tiles. They have fiberglass. I don't know if this matters a whole lot, but the finishes, I tried to be on a higher end just because I didn't want to be sitting in our market for a lot of days. That's my goal with you is to if I could get anything.
I do have buyers that would be really interested. In fact, my last closing in Akron was 2 days ago. So I just did 269 Wheeler, Akron, Ohio. The roof is important. The roof is really important, and so is having a turnkey property for these buyers. So I'm looking at 1064 Lane Street. It's a 5-bed, 2-bath. It's 1925 square feet. It's a full fix and flip. Like they did the landscaping, they put in grass, they did the front facade, the siding, everything on the property, and it went for 150,000. And this is quite the property. So I think as nice as a property can get, like fully renovated, yeah, we could probably get $150,000. But here's the reality. We're in a buyer's market. You're going to list for 140,000. People are going to start calling you, and you're going to go ahead and get a call, and they're going to say, "Hey, we offered you 130,000." You're like, "No, I can't take that." And then maybe somebody offers you 135,000. Great. The realtor is going to take 6% of the sales price at 130,000. You're walking away with 126. So I think it's feasible for you to sit on market for a couple months and get $130,000 to $140,000 offer. You just have the 6% coming out of it. So, I think if we had a fully functional roof on this property and a fully functional hot water tank, and we didn't need to do any repairs, yeah, man, 140 all day long. The cash on cash return supports it. But knowing that we've got to go in here and do a couple repairs on the property, I just don't think I can get top dollar from my buyers for it.
But again, the roof is from in my mind, the roof is only 9-10 years old, and to me it doesn't need work, but you're saying it needs work. So
Well, I'm not saying
I
it
was
needs work. If we look on Google Maps, there's
yeah,
moss all throughout the roof, and that's from
right.
2023. It's been 3 years since then. So I'm not just saying,
Okay.
well, it probably needs work. I'm actively looking at the roof as we speak right now. I'm gonna send you
Yeah.
another picture of it. You know,
No,
the
I
the
see it.
gutters are falling off, the fascia's missing, and there's moss growing on the roof, and that's just one side of it. The other roof is bowing. The lower roof that you have, I'm gonna send you a picture. It's bowing right here. And that's where I'm
Uh-huh.
thinking that we won't be able to do top dollar. So that's kind of where I'm at. So what I'd say is, try your time on the market and see what the
Okay.
market yields, and I'll always be here.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I think that sounds good. I'm probably gonna I'll talk to the realtor. There were three realtors. I feel comfortable putting it on for like 150, and we'll see how it goes.
For sure.
But if you, so your 120 would be your highest. Is that your highest there's going to be?
What I'm going to do is I would lock it up at 120. We'd have the buyer pay the closing costs and there'd be no commission. And I would send it to my buyer at 125. And in all honesty, the buyer would probably walk the property and they might make a comment about the roof or the water heater. And they might say, hey, I need a concession from the seller to fix this. And I think that's the most realistic scenario, if I'm being honest. In closing 15 to 20 of these exact same properties per month, single family and duplex in Ohio and Michigan, usually the process is you go under contract and the lender inspects the property or the lender appraises the property and they say, hey, we want you to fix this and this and this prior to closing. And I think that in a property like that where it's not a fix and flip, because I produce these fix and flips myself. I'm doing 3 at a time in Detroit right now. They just want this stuff to be new. And I think your cash on cash supports it. And I think the comps are there. But if it's not all new, they build in for that.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways, man, I've got to jump on a couple
Yeah.
other calls.
Yeah.
I wish you the best
Thank
of
you.
luck with on market though, and I'll always be here.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. So I just, as I this is the roof in 2023. I just want to bring some attention to this. Let's see if I can get it to show you guys here. This is the roof in 2023. You can see that the wood that's supposed to be here is missing. We've got mold on it, and I just, I do 15 to 20 of these per month, guys. With my firm, you guys lock them up, and I start to know exactly what buyers are going to say, and frankly, I just don't want to spend the time on it when I already know exactly what's going to happen. So here's how this is going to go. I talked to him 3 months ago. He wanted a high price for the house when it was distressed. Now he's done some renovation, but he didn't touch the big things. He didn't touch the mechanical. He didn't touch the roof. He didn't touch the siding. He didn't touch the windows. As a flipper myself, you gotta take care of those, man. You gotta take care of those. So I just, as I look at that, and then I look at the lower roof bowing. I don't know if you guys can see this bowing that we have in the lower roof, and then what he said about the water heater. I just kind of know where it's already going to be. So an interesting example, guys. An interesting example. This is Joanne Street in Detroit, Michigan. It's practically the same thing, but it's in Detroit, and I just want to show you guys what it looks like. This is Joanne Street. I want you to notice the new deck, the new siding. See the windows? Brand new windows, brand new roof, brand new siding, brand new paint. We inspected the property, shit came back, and we still had to do seller concessions on this beautiful of a turnkey property. You understand? So look how beautiful this is. And we still had to do concessions on this property. And that this thing closes in a couple days now. $10,000 finder's fee because we got the seller to agree to the concessions. But yeah, part of this business is knowing what to spend your time on and knowing what not to spend your time on. Anyways, I'm gonna bring up the people from yesterday that I was unable to talk to. I think the Dominator is one of them. Yeah, Omar, I just spoke to your seller on Pinehurst. I talked to him. I've actually spoken to him twice this morning. I talked to him about where the appraisal came in, and we're kind of countering the lender with some comps. I think the other one, Auburn, is still a go, but there's those comps here. So really quickly, guys, before I chat with these people, I just have one call to make for a buyer. Do you remember the deal that we did on Tuesday this week with Harry? We locked up a deal on Tuesday this week. I'll even give the address. The address on this deal with Harry is going to be 7206 Donald in Cleveland, Ohio, a duplex. And we assigned it for a $6,000 finder's fee. Now, we had the buyer walk the property today, and I'd love to know what the buyer's feedback is to see if I have to go to Harry, renegotiate, or if we're ready to proceed with the assignment. So I'm going to give Quaid a call really quickly. Quaid is one of my buyers. And then I'm hoping to answer some questions, then do some live dispo with our new system because it's, it's working beautifully right now.
Hey, Richard.
Hey, Quaid, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Just putting down some lunch.
Great. Well, I just wanted to see what your property manager's feedback was on Harry's flip. I know that he sent some notes and said that he was willing to, let's see, I'm sure I texted it to you. He says, yeah, seller says, we'll ensure that the units pass the Section 8 inspections and add washer and dryer hookups to any properties that you'd like. I don't know if there was feedback beyond that, but I wanted to call and see.
I have no idea. I've been on a few back-to-backs. I need to give him a call. I'm just trying to finish this lunch right now. I'm going to get back on the phone with him, and then I need a status report.
Sure. And I can give him a call too and ask, but yeah, feel free. I'll wait for you and just let me know. And then also while you're on the phone with him, ask him when he's available to walk the other two because those are ready now too.
Were those today's Friday? Would they be available? I think they'd be available tomorrow or Monday.
I heard something about they are available, but I heard that your guy wasn't available on Saturday.
Oh, I thought he was going to do it today because I was on the phone with him. He's like, yeah, my other 2 o'clock or whatever just canceled.
Yeah, we wanted to, and what I'm hearing from the other guy is that he said, "Hey, let's go look at the other ones." And your guy's name is Sean.
Yeah.
And Sean said, "I'm sorry, I gotta head out."
Oh, that's all right. I'll get back on the phone with him and get that time squared.
Yeah. Just let me know about the condition on that one. I'm sure they're willing to fix anything that we found. And yeah, I also have. I think Merland is just about the railings, the smoke detectors, the carbon monoxide detectors. I think those are all on. So I'm gonna call my contractor and see when we can get you guys back out to that.
Sweet, that works.
Huge. Okay, perfect. Well, we will talk soon. Okay.
All right, thank you, Richard.
All right. See ya. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
And then okay, so we got that all situated. Brief call to the contractor as I'm flipping these too. I talked about that on the phone with the seller. The flipping side is awesome. The wholesale side is awesome. The flipping side is awesome. We love that. Let's call the contractor and see if he's done the repairs requested by the buyer.
Hello.
Hey, Chris, how you doing, man?
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi. What are we doing? Come on, phone. Lock in. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Sorry about that. I'm not quite sure what happened.
No problem.
Okay. I just wanted to
get my mess. One second. Hold on.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, just fine.
I said, you get my message about the window screens?
No, I didn't. I was just calling to see if Merland was ready for buyers to come check out again.
So I just reordered those smoke detectors. And for some reason, they say they're not going to be here till Friday. The screens is not going to be in till Wednesday. That's what I sent you earlier.
Oh, okay. Next Friday, next Wednesday?
Yeah, the screen, I think usually because I ordered them off Amazon. I'm believing they're going to come earlier than that because, I use the other ones on Sanford. But the screen, she said Wednesday.
Okay.
I guess if they had to get custom built because there was no screen at all. It wasn't just like a replacement. So he had to get all new screens. So if it's any quicker than that, I'll let you know. And then on Sanford, I think I just got to put them rails up. And then that's it. I already put the smoke detectors up, put the doors in, hooked the plumbing up. What else are we supposed to do over there? Yeah, so I just got to put some rails up.
Okay. All right. Well, we will. I guess we'll just go from there, and I'll just follow up with you towards the end of next week.
Okay. It should be sooner than that. He told me Wednesday. I asked him why it was going to take so long. He said they just special order, so hopefully before that, I'm hoping those smoke detectors come in for that too.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
So if they do, I'll let you know.
Great. Okay.
And then I need to get the shower and all that stuff being tiled over there on Tracy right now. And I need to get the stuff for the basement bathroom sometime in the next couple of days.
Okay. All right. I got you.
So I'll let you know when I'm ready to go.
Okay. Thanks so much, Chris. We'll be in touch soon.
You're welcome.
All right. See ya. Bye. Yeah. So what's happening there? I'm still learning exactly what a Section 8 investor would like to see within a renovated property, and I'm renovating these. I'm doing multifamily. I'm doing single family and renovations in Detroit right now, and there's some stuff that I just didn't even think about. They're like, oh, of course you need that, and one of those is like a railings. You need railings when you're walking up the steps. Apparently, Section 8 needs that. Didn't know about that. In an obvious one that I should have known about, or even my contractor, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. So buyer comes back, asked me to um, come back and fix those things. So I'm fixing them. It's taking a little longer than expected, but that's okay. Am I doing any work during this process? No, I'm just playing the waiting game, guys. I'm just playing the waiting game. Hayden says, do you think BBC VIP will be set up by Monday? No, I don't think so. It's set up now. As I look through it today, it is functioning, and I am able to pull buyers in real time. So if anybody's wondering, like, how do I do a wholesale deal? I mean, geez, this has now never been easier. So let's pick a random ugly property. Here is a random ugly property in Detroit. Wholesaling real estate has quite literally never been easier. You can see how many fees I'm collecting on a weekly basis. It's kind of insane. So if I grab an address like this, let's say I get this thing at 50K, right? I just offer the realtor $50,000. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my address. I'm going to go to Buy Box Cartel. I'm going to click on my buyers list right here. And then I'm going to put in the address. And we're just going to see if anybody flipped right next door. And this is going to load, and then we're going to zoom in, and we will be able to have conversations with the buyers directly. Do we get the school with Buy Box Cartel? And the school is my school group is entirely different. I have a totally different school group, but check this out. So here's your subject property, right? This is the property that we just looked up. And you see this right here? This is an investor. He bought the neighbor's house. I can unlock his contact information right here. See that? I just unlocked his contact information, and then I can give him a call and text him. And if I want, I could just ask him what he's looking for, and then I could go find it for him. And these are verified purchases in the past year. Now, check this out right here. This guy right here, he last bought Lawton Street in Detroit, Michigan. I can just unlock his contact information right here. Now I own it. I click on the name, and I've got their phone number right there. And look, I'll show you that it's the person too. What we can do to test whether or not somebody's real is we can literally just grab their phone number, and if it lights up blue in your phone, you know definitively it's real. If it lights up green, it could be real, but if it lights up blue, it's linked to an iPhone, and they're actively paying for service right now. So this one's lighting up green. What does green mean when it lights up like that? It means they either have an Android or it's not a real phone number, and then we just call it and find out. So let's give them a call right now and just find out if they pick up the phone. And I could literally just say, hey, I saw you're buying property in Detroit right now. What are you looking for? And then I just go find it for them on Zillow. It's literally never been easier. Phone is ringing. It's an active line.
Hi, this is Deborah Mignola. I'm not available right now. Please leave a message and I'll get right back.
Do you see what I'm saying? The name of the buyer is Deborah, and the person whose voicemail we just got is Deborah. Look at that. I don't want to leak the phone number on TikTok or anything like that, but there's Deborah. We can see the last property she bought. The last property that she purchased is right next to our subject property. It's right there. My Dispo team sold 4 deals using this today. So, you go on Zillow and you get a property under contract. We have this one closing on Tuesday for a $10,000 finder's fee. The last one I personally got that closed was 3 days ago on 269 Wheeler Street, Akron, Ohio for $11,000 finder's fee. So it's just you can either do it backwards where you find the deal, you know it's a good deal because it's a good rental property, or it's a really good fix and flip, and then you just call the buyer, and while you're calling the buyer, hell, submit it to my Dispo team so that we can also look for a buyer for you. And even if we find you a buyer and you're like, I still want to work with my buyer, fine, we'll back off. It's your deal at the end of the day. We're just expanding as many strategies as we possibly can do to find you a buyer. And then on top of that, you can post on Facebook. You can mass skip trace these people. You can mass text these people. You can send them to my team, and you find the deals off of Zillow. And you don't have to tell the agent you're wholesaling. And if you don't find a buyer for your deal, it's no problem. You literally just back out of the transaction within your inspection period. It's you're saying you're doing it. You're acknowledging that you might back out when you have an inspection period. So it doesn't cost any money to get a property under contract. And there are 11,000 houses that sell per day in the United States. You're just capturing one of the people who buys properties. I'm one of the people who buys properties. You know? Anyways, basic stuff here, basic stuff. Can I post Dallas properties? No, you can only post properties in one zip code of Detroit. Yeah, of course you can, man. If we grab a random address in Dallas, Texas, and we throw it in there, same thing's going to happen. This is nationwide. I mean, let's go to Dallas, Texas. How do we find a distressed property in Dallas, Texas? How do we know how to find a deal in Dallas, Texas? Well, a simple rule of thumb is ugly houses, big checks. I happen to know that Dallas properties are probably 300,000 on the low end, maybe 200 on the low end. So a property listed for probably 175,000 and below in Dallas, Texas, chances are it's going to need some work. So we find the property that's going to need some work. Let's find one that looks like it has good bones. Great. Here's a property that's going to need some work. It looks like it has good bones. What do I mean by good bones? Well, you can see it's an attractive structure. It's not just a box. It's an attractive structure. And then if we go through the property, yep, that was easy to find a shit box. See how this thing is not in livable condition and just looks really rough everywhere? Yeah, well, I just put in a price filter for low price point properties, and then I can copy the address. I can go over to Buy Box Cartel, and for the first time ever, I can search it, and there's a damn buyer right there. Watch this. It's going to take me about 10 seconds to load this, and then I just call the buyer, and I'm like, yo, would you buy another flip? I saw that you bought the neighbor's house. So we'll wait for it to load for a sec, and then I'll get back into some questions. I also have a lot of sellers that we could call today. It's kind of up to you guys to what you want to see, but check this out. So now we're in Dallas, Texas. Somebody just asked me about Dallas, Texas. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in and look at this. This flipper bought this address in May 20th. He bought this property. So you know that this guy is flipping properties, and you can skip trace him, get his phone number right there. Or you could skip trace all the other people who have bought there. And if you're like, you know what, I need more, 500 people is not enough, great. Expand your radius to 5 miles. You'll get even more people who want to buy your deal. Houses are on Zillow, buyers are on Buy Box Cartel. As soon as we get to 1,000 users on Buy Box Cartel, we give away a Corvette C8 Stingray. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to take some questions. Okay. So let's start with the Dominator. He was up first. How we doing, man? After I take my questions, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm doing okay. I just had a quick question. So I was trying to talk to this agent, and he kept basically saying that your like Chase proof of funds is fake, and that other students have also sent him the same sort of screenshot. So he just wants sort of clarification, I guess, from you directly. I think he had DM'd you on Instagram to see if you're like real embedded. So he just wants like a response from you, or just something just to say, hey, I'm real. This is my proof of funds, something like this. I don't know how we could
sure
do that. But,
well, it's going to be great.
I sent in the chat. This is what his Instagram is, and his phone number. He said he wants you to text him and just verify who you are. That's all it is. So
sure. I love conversations like this. I call him. Yeah. I sound as if I'm in my 20s. He assumes that it's fake, and then I sent him a bank statement, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir." And I say, "That's okay. I forgive you." So let's go ahead and give him a call. But here's the thing. Before I call him about your deal, I have to know that the deal makes sense, and I have to know that it's something we can actually sell. So I do have to review your deal and make sure, because if I call him and I send him proof of funds for it, he's going to want to, work with me, not you. And I want him to work with you. And if you lock up this deal and he wants me to sign my name on the line with you, I've got to sign something that makes sense, because I don't want to tell somebody I can do something when really I can't. So let's see if the deal actually makes sense before we give him a call. Is that okay?
Well, I don't have nothing under contract. I had sent him an offer initially. I think it was on like 351 Barrett Drive. I don't know the exact address. And he was just questioning the proof of funds itself. So I don't have anything under contract. He just wants authenticity. If it feels like it's real, then he'll go ahead and proceed with the offer. That's all.
Okay. Well, let's see.
So I don't have anything concrete right now.
Let's see if the offer makes sense. That's what I'm saying. Let's see if the offer that you're making on the property makes sense. Because I just want to make sure of that really quickly here. Do you want to go ahead and DM me the address? We can definitely keep it private.
Sure. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find it for you. 1 second.
Now, for the people who are asking about the Corvette and whether they have to take the Corvette, and they're like, I don't know if I want the Corvette, it's okay. Well, it's Corvette or $70,000 in cash. It's either or, you know? It's no biggie.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to send it. I have to do this like CAPTCHA thing. Hold on 1 second.
No worries, bro. No worries. You take your time. Yeah, civil investor. That's how I try to keep my live stream active, man.
Okay, I just sent it to you. You can take a look at this one. I think what did I say here? Let me see. Give me 1 second.
I'm gonna plug in my heater. Y'all want me to do a wholesale deal today, or you want me to take questions? Because we can kind of do either. You know, we can take questions all day long, and that's all well and good. Sorry for my outfit. I just got back from the gym. Or we can do some deals. So what do we want to do? We want to see me lock up a house and sell that shit in real time? Or do we just want to do questions all day because we had such an eventful day this past day and really the day before? Let me plug in my heater. It's a little chilly in here. Today's another boat day. I guess not another boat day. We haven't gone out on it in a second. We were supposed to go out yesterday, but some shit hit the fan. Don't apologize for this outfit. All the guys in the chat are like, don't apologize for this outfit. The other guys in the chat are a little bit angry about it, but I wear my small outfit in the gym because I like to see where I'm at body fat wise. Okay. No, apologize. Bro says apologize for the outfit. Some of them like it, some of them don't. Okay, deals, let's go. All right, well, I think people kind of want a combination of both here. Find one in Nashville. Easy, dude. And I'll just say this before I answer this guy's question. There is not a single person here who is not in a real estate investment right now. Not one. Not one. If you live in Nashville, you're in a real estate investment. You are. And I'll tell you why. If you're a tenant, well, that's somebody's rental property, right? If you're living in a nice house that you own, where'd you get that? You got that off of a developer or a flipper. So unless you're homeless, you're in a real estate investment, man. So all I have to do to find one in Nashville is, the Nashville median housing price probably around 400,000. That's a guess. I don't know. I don't own anything in Nashville. I own in Clarksville and Memphis. I'm going to guess 400K. If I put in a price filter for 200K, I'm only going to see ugly ass properties, right? Destroyed properties. Well, those destroyed properties become nice properties. We've all seen construction projects. You head over to Buy Box Cartel, you put in the address. Great. There's a flipper across the street. Give them a call. We just called one, and it was Deborah, and it said it was Deborah, and she owns those properties. Anyways, I'm going to answer this guy's question. You send me that address?
Yeah, I sent the address as well as what I had offered. So
Dope.
Really, I just did the thing which you had mentioned, just offer like 60% off of list price. So,
Hell yeah, bro. And that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a good idea, because as I'm looking at this next deal on Zillow, guys, I do want to illustrate that it's been here for 122 days. What does that tell you when something's been there for 122 days? It means that it's not what the property is worth. It's not worth that $90,000 that they're asking here. So we got to get it below that, and that's exactly what he's done. He's offered 60% of that. So the nature of this game is we have a deal that's already for sale. It's not for sale at the right price. If we can get it at the right price, we're going to be able to get a finder's fee. So I like that you've got a nice, ugly house. All we have to confirm right now, man, is that this house is actually in an area where people are flipping. So I'm going to go ahead and grab it. And then I'm going to look in this general vicinity. I'm going to draw around your neighborhood. And Texas is non-disclosure. So as I'm doing this, I kind of realized, wait a second, I'm not going to be able to see what the houses are selling for. I can only see what the houses are listing for. And I see that your neighbor's house is currently listed for $280 with 1,300 square feet. You've got 780 square feet, so we can't quite comp with that. Your other neighbor's house is 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,000 square feet, listed for 180. Looks like they flipped it. Well, not a great flip. Looks like they added some renovations to it. Other neighbor's house is a 3-1 with 1,000 square feet, listed for 159,000. So yeah, okay. Here's what I'm thinking, man. Here's what I'm thinking. This doesn't reveal the address. It just kind of reveals some of the comps. So what price have you offered this guy?
I believe it was like 50,000, give or take.
Got it. Okay. So this property right here is about 250, 300 square feet larger than you. We can see that they've done some renovation to the property. It's got new LVP in it. It's got a couple updates, but it's bigger. So I would imagine that if your house were renovated to this standard, maybe it's worth about 150 to 160, just based off of what people are listing other houses in the area for. Although I will say this one's listed for 155. The only difference is it's a lot bigger. It's got like 600 more square feet. So I gotta comp the property a little bit more, because I know that we're walking into a full rehab. You know, as I look at this property, this is a big renovation. I think that we probably have to do maybe about 45 on the interior, and then we have to do a new roof, maybe new siding, and then heavy landscaping. So maybe another 30. So I think you're looking at a 75K project. If the properties are selling for 150, we won't have enough room. The formula for after repair value is this: 150,000 after repair value, multiply that by 0.7. That's going to bring you to 105,000, and then subtract your rehab, which just at face value, I'm going to guess $70,000. So that's going to put us at a $35,000 price, and then anything below that becomes your fee. So I'm guessing we have to be a little bit below that, but the ARV could be higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check really quick. We got to use PropStream to check, because non-disclosure states are states that don't actually have to show us what properties are selling for. They don't actually have to tell us. Now, how do we get around a non-disclosure state where they're not going to tell us what a property's selling for? Well, great. We just go into a website like PropStream and they tell us. And soon Lightning Leads search function comes out shortly here. And of course, that's a third the cost of PropStream. So I'm going to look at your comps.
I also heard another formula by, Max. Max did. He had a different formula. It's like ARV. What is it? Something. I can't remember what it was. Give me a second. It was like ARV times 0.9 minus repairs times 2 or something.
It's interesting. Well, I'm seeing some good comps, man. That's the good news. Okay. I'm seeing a comp right here. It is 194,000. It is a 3-1 with 852 square feet. You're a 3-1 with 790. So it's a very close comp. This thing sold for 194, and then that is about less than 0.2 miles away, and the renovation's not crazy. So yeah, looks like the ARV is going to be around 194,000 or 190,000 on this, which is great, because we couldn't see that on Zillow simply because we could only look at the houses that are for sale. So I'm feeling good about this. The price per square foot here is $227. $227 per square foot multiplied by your 780 square feet puts us at $177,000 after repair value. So essentially what I've done is I've said, okay, that house is a little bit larger. The price per square foot to compare apples to apples is $227. Multiply the $227 by your square footage of 700, and it's actually 790 or 789, $180K ARV. So I think within reason, your house will sell for $180K. So let's say you got this for 50, you charged 55, $5K assignment fee. You put on $10,000 in closing costs. The person brings about, let's call it 65 to the table, a little bit lower. They're in it for about 130,000, and they should be able to sell for around 180. So yeah, I think we have some margins here. I think we've got some margins. I think somebody could be in this deal for about 130 and expect to exit that for about $180,000, which is good. That's good. You can make 50K on the deal, which is not what we were seeing on Zillow. So it's important to have a tool like PropStream, guys. Get your 1-week free trial right here. Anyways, yeah, let me call your realtor right now, provide a little bit of credibility, and we'll go from there. Are you speaking to a Mr. Salvador?
I think it's I don't know, this guy, it's weird. I think he represents Mr. Salvador. It's a weird, I don't really get it. I think his name is Ryan something. Let me see if I got his, because he had mentioned that other students had sent him the same like proof of funds that you provide. So
Okay.
I don't know. See if I can find the thing here with this one.
Guys, the proof of funds is just a screenshot of my bank account. You know, it's literally just a screenshot of my bank account. Do you wholesale?
So this is the guy right here, Ryan Staniger, and he said like 4 other students have sent from Hold My Hand. Who's Richard Taylor? Like he couldn't believe it. I'm just like, I don't know what more proof he needs, but
it's okay. We can give him a call. Now, here's the thing that I'll say: Ryan's not the listing agent. The listing agent is Salvador. I don't want to talk to Ryan. I want to talk to Salvador. Who is Ryan? Is he a buyer's agent? Did you click contact?
Well, I reached out so I sent the offer to Salvador, and Salvador, I guess, rerouted it to him. So I don't know. And then he started talking to me, so I don't know what's
interesting. Well, why don't we why don't we just talk to?
Maybe he's like his assistant or something. Or
all right, I guess I'll call him and I'll ask if he's the listing agent. I'll just call and ask. I don't know why my heater turned off. Come back on. Can I come up for like 2 minutes? Yeah, bro, you can. Let me get to these people, okay? 110 over there. Yeah, it's hot as hell over here too. The issue I'm running into is that my AC makes this room disproportionately cold compared to the rest of my house. Okay, so let's call and ask if he's the realtor here. And then we've got a couple other calls to make today too, but we're gonna get to these questions first. Has anybody tried the live dispo thing? Anybody tried to dispo their deal in real time? Here we go. Phone.
Please hold while I try to connect you.
And what's your name? Should I refer to you as the Dominator or something else?
My name is Dominique.
Dominique. Hey, you've been talking to the Dominator over here.
The one and only.
You know the Dominator. How do you not know the Dominator, man? Come on.
Your call has been forwarded to the voicemail for Ryan Staniger. No one is available to take your call. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press the pound key for more options.
Hi, Ryan. My name is Richard Taylor. I was speaking to Dominique. He's an acquisitions manager of mine. He was talking to you about Barrett in San Antonio. It looks like a single family. It's got a solid ARV of maybe 180,000. Looks like it'd be a good flip. He reached out to present an offer on this and used a screenshot of my bank account to get that done. Now that is a screenshot of my bank account, and I am Richard Taylor. I am the one behind that. This is my cell, so feel free to give me a call back. But we just exited one in San Antonio, 10511 Masquette Avenue, San Antonio. And then I've also got another one there in Selma, which you're familiar with, I'm sure, just outside of San Antonio, 9711 Chelsea Circle in Selma, Texas. And that one's actually available now. So I'm just looking for another one, just giving you a call today to verify that proof of funds, see if there's anything else I can give you to make sure you know that's real. Anyways, thanks so much for your time. Talk soon. Bye-bye. Anyways, he can confirm that I own those, man.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. That's what the main issue was, is just like credibility and getting going. So
yeah,
but yeah, he had complained that other people did the same thing. He just doesn't believe it. So I don't know what more he needs. But
you know what fraudulent activity was happening when I was getting started wholesaling, guys. This is what people were doing, and I want you all to be aware of this. This is something that I would not do, and I would be very careful about doing. I just wouldn't do it outright. I'm outright saying don't do this, but this is what was happening when I first started wholesaling. If you go into your bank account, and I'll share my screen and show you what I'm talking about, guys. But if you were to go into your bank account or even a page like Zillow, and you click inspect on the screen right here, it's gonna bring up the HTML code. And if I want, I can change the listing price of this property to $20 million. It doesn't reflect that for anybody else, but I could change the price of it. And that's what people were doing. They were legitimately faking their proof of funds. And a lot of people got in trouble for it, and it's fraud. But people were going to their bank accounts and adjusting the actual numbers that they had available, which is like a very serious thing. And it definitely fraud. And I would definitely avoid doing that at all costs. But that was what was happening, and that's what people were telling me to do on the low when I was getting started. But instead of doing that, you'll remember I posted a video about this, and I talked about using wholesale double close as proof of funds, because that actually is real. Wholesale double close. It's a double close website, and they'll give you proof of funds. They'll literally just give you proof of funds, and a ton of double close websites will too. So if you look up doubleclose.com,
I didn't know that. That's good.
check this out, doubleclose.com, it'll literally say proof of funds. Yeah, look at this, proof of funds request. This is not a lender. This is not a lender that's going to it's not a lender that's actually going to do a DSCR loan or anything like that. It's actually transactional lending. It's called day funding. And I've closed with this before. We used an example in Memphis because I had a realtor calling me out and saying, you told people to use fake proof of funds by going to doubleclose.com. And then I showed that we closed with doubleclose.com. Like, we actually closed with it. And I was like, well, look, we took title and then immediately resold the property. So it's not fraudulent to use their proof of funds, understanding that it's an actual lender with actual funds available, and you can get proof of funds from them right here. It's also a great resource to get your deals double closed. So anyways, that's how I would get proof of funds if they're not liking mine. I might partner with your buyer. Another thing that you could do is you could go to Buy Box Cartel, call a buyer who just purchased the neighbor's property and say, hey, I'm looking for more. What's your criteria? And then when you find one, say, hey, they want proof of funds, and then use their proof of funds for it. And then that's an entirely unique proof of funds. And then another way to get proof of funds, doubleclose.com, transactional funding. That's a real lender, and they will give you proof of funds. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that was the main thing, man. Just credibility. And but yeah, I appreciate everything that you're doing. I just had one more question. When you make offers on properties, typically we need to have like a 20 to 30K discount. Is that pretty standard, or does it depend, or I don't know? Like,
20 or 30K is not a discount that I can necessarily recommend across the board, because 20 or 30K off of $300,000 is a 10% discount. And I would rather use a percentage model, and I would rather say, hey, I would aim for 70% of what the property is listed for.
Okay, that's a better formula. Okay, cool. Okay,
So,
all right, that's all I needed. I really appreciate it. So hopefully he believes it now. He also had sent you a DM on Instagram too. So I don't know.
Yeah, man, I'll be honest. There are, my Instagram gets over 4 million views a month, and there's just no way. There's just no way with the amount of people that DM. If only 1% of people DM me, I still can't get back to it if it's 4 million people who see it. So, I don't have an ability to get back to that. I got an employee in my DMs. We'll see. We'll see if they get back to him. But anyways, I got to move on, man. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Rich.
Absolutely. Now here's a question. I'm about to sell my house. Should I entertain an offer from somebody who wants to assume my loan? Yeah, 100%. Yes, especially if you owe pretty close to what your house is listed for. So that's what we do all day long. We take over people's debt. We find them somebody who wants to live in the property, Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak to a couple more people. Riley Kelly, you were supposed to come up today. I was supposed to sell your deal, wasn't I? I don't think he's available, but I was supposed to sell Riley Kelly's deal today just by making some calls. So we might be able to do that later. I want to speak to Patrick next. Patrick's been patient. Patrick, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Rich?
I'm doing well today, man. How can I help you?
So basically everything you're doing with the new the buy box, I found the same type of way. Like when they're posting their properties or when they sell, I've just been cold calling them. And I've reached out to some pretty unique people who've created buy boxes. Created their portfolios off Creative Finance. So the two people I just put in your inbox, they actually want to have a conversation with you because I told them you're the new wave of Creative Finance. So,
all right. Well, let's make
sure. And they're actually selling their houses. So it's just about coming to terms. And the first guy, his name's Patrick.
Great.
And he's like ready to go. It's just about the terms and conditions. It's like pretty much verbally done.
Okay. Well, let's just make sure this thing works. Am I looking at Venetian?
All right. No, the one above it. That's Eric. That's the second call.
I see a link in Zillow. I don't know if that's the same one. Oh, that one's also to Venetian. Okay.
Aberdeen.
I see Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I've never heard of Temple, Texas, so I just got to make sure that's somewhere where people live before. Temple, Texas. Looks like Temple is kind of in between Waco and Austin and has 82,000 people. So yeah, there's a population in Temple, Texas, and it's between two decent sized cities. Not tremendously far from Bryan either. Okay, yeah, I think we got some people out here. I think we could find a buyer out here. People are where the buyers come from anyways. So yeah, I'm looking at this house in Temple. Now what's going on with this house in Temple? Are you taking over the debt?
Yeah, it's a mixture. He's okay with seller finance as well.
Cool.
There's the stipulations around it. He speaks your language. It's a lot of term. He bought this on seller finance. He has also another property on seller finance. It's a lot. It's a lot of information. I've been talking to him for like 3 days until like 10:30 at night. He's been like, I wrote a lot of it down. It's very good information.
Okay, yeah, I see he's got a 3% interest rate on his mortgage, and he owes about 154,000. Looks like his asking price at this time is 280,000. So there's about a 130K gap in between asking and what the property is, the debt on the property is at. I can see he pays $730 a month on his mortgage. No information on taxes. I'll assume T&I is about $450 a month. So $730 plus $450. $730 plus $450 is about a $1,080. And then I'm going to go ahead and look at the rent because that's the other important factor. So Zillow rental estimator to figure out what the property might rent out for. Oh, we got a lot of tabs open. Let me close a couple of these. Close. Don't need that. There's the one we're looking at. All right. So what will you rent out? Probably 2,000, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think it was 21.
1629. Okay. So here's the boat I'm in, man. I want you to step out of your wholesale perspective entirely, and I want you to step into the shoes of the owner with me. Because if we are to be good wholesalers, we really need to understand the owner's perspective above all else, okay? So I'm going to put you in the owner's shoes. You have a house, and you're expecting to get about $250 for it. You're listed for $280, but you'd take $250. You owe $150,000 on it. So how much are you expecting to make? If you sell for $250 and you owe $150, how much are you going to make?
50, somewhere in there.
You sell for $250 and you owe $150, how much are you going to make?
Sell for $250, you owe $150. You're going to make around 60, something around there, 50, 60.
150 plus 60.
100, sorry, 150, sorry.
That's it. You got it. So you're going to make $100,000. Now, that's the seller's perspective. Seller is expecting to make $100,000. So how much can we generally offer as a down payment on seller financing?
10%.
Right. So we call the seller, hey, Mr. Seller, I see you're open to seller financing. We can give you 10% down. He agrees to the 10% down, despite the fact that he's expecting to make $100,000. He takes the 10%, which is amazing. But what do we have to do? We got to make him payments for the rest. Now, the payments, they inherently have to be below what the house rents out for, or else we have no cash flow. House is going to rent out for about $1,700. It says $1,600, but we'll give you the benefit of the doubt, say $1,700. Now, he pays on his mortgage about $1,200 right now. If we were to offer him anything on top of the $1,200, or even just stay at the $1,200 that he pays on his mortgage right now, we're negative cash flow. And we can't do a deal where we're negative cash flow unless it's $0 down, and this guy's not taking $0 down. So I'm understanding buyer's perspective and seller's perspective at the same time. Seller is going to take 10% down, and this is really nice. We're really happy he's going to do that. But we've got to make him payments for the rest. Now we're paying $1,500 a month to the seller. Well, not to the seller, but $1,500 a month total, maybe only $300 a month to the seller. And the property is going to rent out for that amount. And now as we shift perspective, that's the seller's perspective. He needs his payments. He needs his down payment. As we shift perspective to the person we're marketing it to, the buyer, well, the buyer looks at this and says, I'm putting down about $40K. That's with your fee and closing costs. And I'm not making any money per month. So there's two people who could buy this. There's the $0 down buyer who's a retail buyer that might live in the property. Like if any of you happen to live in Temple, Texas, and I said, I'll give you my house for $0 down and you own the house, no qualification. You might jump on that. But if it's $25K down, you're thinking, man, I'm just going to go FHA. FHA will let me put down 3%. No need for me to live in a property and put down 10%. I could put down 3%. So the person who's going to live in the property needs to be $0 down. But this guy's not going to take $0 down because he's got over $100,000 in perceived equity, as I call it. The other buyer is the cash flow buyer. The cash flow buyer has no cash flow. His mortgage is inherently $1,200 a month, and we are going to need a monthly payment to the seller, which is going to push that payment all the way up to $1,500, $1,600 per month. And now we're negatively cash flowing. It's also important to note that if a rental figure is $1,700, the rental figure is actually 20% less than that for expenses. It's $1,350. So the way that I see it is, no matter what the seller lets me do, unless he's willing to sell for $0 down, I don't have a way to spin this deal to make it attractive to really any type of buyer. Do you understand why?
Yeah, there's no money in the deal.
Yeah, so no cash flow and then too much equity to take $0 down. Because we got to understand our two buyers. Again, first buyer right here is $0 down buyer. But what is party A, who's the seller, need to have be the case if we're going to get it for $0 down? Well, it needs to be just like my house in San Antonio, where I owe exactly what the property is worth. So I'll give it to somebody for $0 down. But this guy's got $100K in equity. And then as far as the investor side of things, ain't no money in the deal, ain't no cash flow. You said it yourself, right?
Right.
Let's move on to the next one. I don't think there's anything I can do for that guy. The next one you have here is Venetian.
Yes.
Cool. Checking it out now. Now, are you finding these with lightning leads?
No. Basically, I have a transactional coordinator who finds them for me. I've been working with a guy and another guy from Egypt.
Love it, bro.
So it's like a team of, yeah.
Cool. So this one's a little bit of a different scenario, and I think we can work it. This is in Smyrna Beach, and I've heard of that before, which means it's probably close to somewhere big. So let's look up Smyrna Beach.
Golf course, PGA.
It's on the ocean outside of Orlando. That's what the hell I'm talking about, bro. I like this deal a lot more. So guys, as I'm trying to be a good wholesaler, it's my job once again to understand seller perspective and buyer's perspective and align the two items. Now, as I look right here, what do I think off the bat? Well, this property is quite literally on the water. Check this out. This is a property that's on the water. I'll share my screen right here and look at that. Who wouldn't want to live on this water right here, guys? Everybody would. And you just look at it, and it's in this nice wooded area on the water, and you've literally got the beach what appears to be 500 feet away from the house. So instantly I'm thinking, well, this is something that would be appealing to more than just an investor. This is something that would be appealing to a retail buyer. And that's the buyer's perspective. So I see the location, and I think buyer's perspective is I'd like to see it. I'd like to buy the property. I'd like to check out the property. Instagram's asking to see. Instagram, here you go. Here's the property. Here's the beach. See the beach, Smyrna Beach. And then as we zoom out, we can see it's in the greater Orlando metro area. This is Orlando right here. Let's see if it shows. Yep, that's Orlando. So we're in the Orlando metro on the beach, which is very desirable for most buyers who want to live in the property, I should say. Now, as far as shifting to the seller's perspective, your seller has a house that's probably worth about $300K. They owe $276. And you may be thinking, okay, so they're going to make $24K. No. If somebody offers them $310 and the realtor takes 6%, they walk with $291 and they owe $276. I can also see that they have a 3% interest rate mortgage, meaning I could give them a little bit of that equity that they have. So this thing for maybe $10K down, I think we've got a deal. And I do think that it would make sense for the seller to accept $10,000 down, given the estimated value of $335K and their mortgage of $276 and realtors taking 6%. So this one makes sense, man. I like it.
Okay. He's also a creative guru, so I'm interested in seeing how you guys work this.
I'm guessing he wants to do a wrap, because when we have a creative guru, as you're saying, what they want to do with their low interest rate is what Jason does with his interest rates in his houses. And what Jason Ellis from the community does is he'll buy a house that has a lower than market interest rate, and then he'll resell that property on a set of payments with a higher interest rate. So if this guy wants to wrap a 7% interest rate to me, he's not looking for a wholesaler. He's looking for a retail buyer, just like I am. So the conversation I'm going to have with him is say, hey, look, we're wholesaling this. We're wholesaling the property. I've got a lot of people who'd be interested in this. In fact, I run a community for people who are interested in this thing. But I get your exit. You want to wrap the property to me. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy who can give you $10,000 down and find you somebody who wants to step into your mortgage. And that's kind of what I'm going to say to him. But if he's trying to talk about, well, 7% interest rate, we'll sell it for 330, you put down 30K. I get what he's trying to do, but that's for a retail buyer, not me. So that's usually what happens when it's a quote unquote creative guru trying to sell one of these houses. But let's give him a call. Let's see what he wants. Thank you, Lexi. Lexi, I never forgot what you said. You one day in the chat, you told everybody that you're 14 years old. If that's the case, we really need to get you a deal so I can talk about it on Instagram. So I don't know if you were playing when you said that, but if that's the case, man, we got to get you a deal, because then what I can do is I can talk to all the 30-year-old men on my Instagram and be like, you see this 14-year-old girl who just did a deal? What are you doing? Anyways. Oh, you're kidding. Okay, well, that's all right. We've had other 14-year-olds do deals. So Patrick, let's give him a call. Is Eric the owner of Venetian?
Yes.
Okay. Kasik, yes, I've got you, dog. I've got you. Okay. I'm going to give him a call. Here he is. What's his name? Eric. All right, everybody mute your mics so everybody can hear, okay? See if anybody wants to pick up their phone today. Hello, Eric. My name is Richard. You were speaking to my partner, Patrick, about the Venetian Palms property.
Yes. How are you, Richard?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
I see you've got one of the best interest rates of all time on a property that's damn near beachfront. You're in a pretty good position. I understand you're looking to sell this, though.
Yeah, I am. I'm raising some money myself to do a couple things, and we no longer use the property anymore. So I'm either going to lease it out. If I don't sell it within the next 30 days, and just ride it out until the economy turns around, or I'm open to owner financing, assuming it's 3.99 loan that's on it. I'm flexible.
Okay. It looks like you have a really good spread on the rent here. Is the payment on the loan here something like $1,750?
Actually, the actual principal and interest is 14 something.
And then with taxes and insurance, a little closer to 17, you think?
Well, with taxes and insurance, my total note on the property, including all the insurance, taxes, and I also include the $95 HOA is $2,160. Take the HOA back out. That's on top of, I'm paying $2,160 right now.
Okay, and then you said the HOA is part of the $2,160 or on top of the $2,160?
No, I'm sorry, it's not. It's an extra $95 a month. Again, I'm planning to when I rent the property out, I'm gonna put it on the market for $2,500 because there is one other property like it, a few doors down and behind, that they're renting it out for $2,500 also, but it has the vinyl in it and the old carpet. I've got porcelain tile in my home. But anyway, the lowest property up there, a few doors away, is renting for $2,500. That's why I'm listing mine at $2,500. I will also, I'm willing to lease or rent it furnished, and I'll bump it up to $2,700 or $2,650, depending on the individual, to lease it or purchase it furnished. Mine is the master bedroom bed. Everything else can stay. So in the market, rent in that area, similar homes, similar size, goes up to $3,100. So somebody could lease rent it from me, and they can sublet it for whatever they can get. And I don't mind people making money behind me. I just know what I want,
For sure.
what I should get out of it.
Now, what kind of expenses do you run on your rentals? Because I kind of do the same thing, and I usually look at it as a rental figure year end for management, and then the vacancy that we might see 1 month looking for a tenant. That's probably about 20% less than actual rent. So when you rent out for $2,500, you think on your books year end it might be 15% less than that or so, or maybe 20%.
Well, I guess it could be 15 or 20. It depends on who's managing it. Again, if I rent it to a private individual, they don't have that much overhead. Again, they'll be taking over less than a $2,200 note, and they can rent it for up to, like I say, $3,000. So whatever expenses they have, management, that's up to each management company. Fees are subjective according to who's renting out what. And again, this property has not been a rental. We bought this brand new, actually really bought it with my son for my granddaughter just because she wanted a house with stairs. And now she's getting ready to graduate high school, doesn't even go to school in that district. We sent her to private school. So the last almost 2 years, my son and I at times occupy the property because it's not far from the ocean. It's 9 miles from the actual New Smyrna Beach Pier, 20 miles from Daytona Beach and Daytona Speedway, 20 minutes anyway. So I don't know what the maintenance or property management costs would be because I haven't rented it out.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it would be great if we could make 100% of what we rented out of property for. I think the thing is, like, let's say it just takes 1 month to rent it out. That's 8% year end that we didn't collect. So if it just takes 1 month to rent out, 1 month out of 12 months rent that we don't collect, that's 8% year end. And then if we have any management, any repairs, any utilities, anything like that throughout the year, it's just money on top. So usually I look at a rental figure as 20% less than it is. So I would imagine we rent for $2,500, we're bringing in $2,000, but of course we pay that $2,250. So I'm in the game of buying cash flow, and I think the interest rate's appealing. If you've got a 3% interest rate on your loan, I could still do the deal, but I do kind of view this as a break-even rental property. So what would you be looking to get for the property?
Well, I've got it listed for $333.9, basically $334, and my reason for listing it at that, a few months ago, my neighbor directly to my right sold his property for $335. Same house, with the exception, again, they just have regular vinyl tile, the cheap stuff in it, and I, have porcelain tile floors in the main area, but virtually the same property. So that's why I'm listing it for the same. There is another home that's in the neighborhood that sold in the last 6 to 9 months, exactly like my home, that sold for, they had it listed for like $319. It sold for $309, but it sold quickly and at that lower price. I suspect because it was a murder-suicide in the home and the people just really wanted to move on and get rid of it. Off-market properties, if my house was not on the market or even the neighbors, any of those others sold, the exact same home off-market is estimating appraisal at $359.
Yeah, I think that
off market.
I think you could definitely access those prices with a retail buyer. And I wish I were a retail buyer here, but I'm just like you. I'm a landlord. I rent these properties out, and what I would do with this property is I'd put a tenant in there, and my tenant would pretty much pay what I'm paying on my mortgage. So I think I would take over this loan. It's an appealing loan. I think it makes sense. It's a good location, but I'm not going to be making any money on it monthly. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I just hold on to that interest rate for a long period of time and pay that down quickly, and then know that it's going to appreciate because it's on the beach. So what I'm thinking here is I'd take it over, but because I'm not making any money, I'd have to offer you some money to take over the debt, probably 5 figures to take over the debt. I might offer you $10K for that, and then I'd also pay closing costs. But I think you really can get the numbers you're talking about, the 335. You'll just have to list it on market with the realtor, and they'll take the 6% out of that, and it will end up being more than $10,000. But for my purposes, I'm just like you, and I'm wanting to rent it out, and I kind of would be like you, wanting to sell the property because it doesn't make much money as a rental for me. But once again, a retail buyer would totally pay the price that you're talking about, and the appraisal is definitely real.
Yeah, right. I agree with you again. Let me add these two things. I'm offering, as I say, to rent it out at $2,500. I don't know if that other property has rented for $2,500, but you can rent that property, that square footage in that area, because they already built the final phase of that neighborhood. You can get rents up to $3,100 or $3,000 on it. So that monthly cash flow changes if you find the right tenant, or I find the right tenant who wants to rent it for $3,000, or I find the right tenant that wants to lease option it from me. As I already passed on to Patrick, I can just rent it and get first, last security, possibly a pet deposit if they have a large or small pet, and $5,000 on a purchase option that they have 24 months or 36 months, depending on who it is, to rent it to. So I can get between $15,000 and $18,000 renting. So right. I'm not interested in accepting or even $10,000 from anyone. Patrick and I talked about this. He brought something before. Some investor possibly wanted it for $20,000. Again, if I'm selling it for $335 and I owe $285 on it, I've got about $50 equity in it. I'm looking to get some cash out now, and as I told him, I would take $20 down, and depending on who I'm selling it to, work out a balloon payment. Obviously, I've been on both sides of this.
So I guess here's the thing. Those prices are for retail buyers, and you have to list it on the market. I'm a landlord like you. And then as far as the balloon payment, I can only refinance 75% out of what a property's worth. And we owe more than that right now. So I wouldn't be able to refinance this, and I wouldn't really want to, because I don't want to be at market interest rates of 7% and have my payment be $3,500 on this. So I have to jump on some other calls today, but I'm interested in your deal. I'm like you. I'm a lot like you, and I would put a tenant in there. I buy cash flow, and this thing just doesn't really make much more cash flow than what I'd be willing to trade about $17,000 for. That's $10K to take over the debt, and then that's another $7K in closing costs. So I do recognize your value, and I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I just think that those are prices that retail buyers who want to live in the property would be willing to pay. But I'll always be here. You can list it on the market, and even if you don't get it, I'll still be here. But again, I really think you will get that number.
Yeah, well, again, it is on the, I took it off the MLS for Patrick. It's going back on Monday. And again, I've got it on sites to rent it out. If I get it rented out for $3,000 and there's a little more cash flow, I'll definitely get back in touch with you.
Yeah.
Also, there are no realtors on this. My son's a realtor. I'm doing this for sale by owner. I've had over 40 properties in my life that I bought and sold for sale by owner or as is.
Holy shit, guys, I'm so done with this. Let me off the damn phone.
Options in the whole 9 yards. So there are no realtor fees.
I'm going to tell him I'm getting another call.
Loan origination fees, I cut all that out.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I'm getting another call. Another call is coming in from a realtor I've got to pick up. I'm so sorry to cut you off, man. All right, who's next? Yeah, Patrick, we probably could sell that for like 15 to 17K down if we took over that 3% rate. That's why I'd probably need to be at 10K down. Buyers do look at this at cash flow, but with a really low interest rate like that, yeah, somebody would take over the debt for a little bit of a fee, like a 3% rate. Cool. Even if it doesn't cash flow. But guys, know when to get off the phone with people. It just doesn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, hey, I gotta answer some more questions so we can hopefully sell some deals today, guys. I do have a hard cut.
Other guy, if he calls you, just bring me back up. He texted me and said he's leaving the meeting now.
I don't remember. We didn't actually call the other guy because there wasn't any cash flow in the deal, so I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't give him a call just because of the reasons I talked about before. Anyways, we'll talk, man. I got to move on. Omar, you've been patient, man. How's it going? We'll do some calls today, guys. Don't worry, we'll do some calls. I just got to get through a couple questions. Omar, what's going on?
Doing great, Richard. Thank you. I got a off-market seller finance package deal in Florida. I DM'd you the details. The first property is mixed use. It's a commercial and residential at the same time. The second one is residential. He's asking 1.2 million. He also sent me a rent roll and expenses sheet. Which
Whoa,
I
slow down.
DM'd to you as well.
Slow down. I catch up to your speed, man. So are we looking at Woodland Boulevard?
No, deal in Florida.
I see it's in Deland, Florida, but is that on Woodland Boulevard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Let me pull that up really quickly here. Okay, so we're looking at an off-market multifamily of sorts. What is this, a triplex?
Yes, sir.
Okay, triplex, and then I see you've offered 1,300 down, 2K a month. Damn, yeah. I mean, 1.3 million with 2K a month is insane. That would be crazy if you got that. I'd probably be able to get you $30,000 as a finder's fee on that. What's their?
He approved on the offer, but he wants interest rate above that. He's totally open to seller finance. It's just about how to negotiate with terms.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you had the time to call him.
Of course I do. Yes, I do.
Worth your time.
Now here's something interesting. $2,000 a month in payments cannot be achieved with even a 1% interest rate on 1.3 million. You know, what is 1% interest rate on 1.3 with 100 down? I'm going to guess like 2 or 3K per month, maybe 3K a month. So 1.3 million with $100,000 down and even a 1% interest rate. Yeah, it's 3,800 a month. So even a 1% interest rate, you know, hell, even interest only at 1%. 1% interest only is 1,000. Well, actually, 1% interest only is $1,000 a month, but big chance that he accepts 1% interest, right? So he's probably going to hit me with a normal rate, like anywhere from 4 to 6%. And the 4 to 6% is going to destroy our cash flow. When we go to 4%, I'm at $5,700 per month. And then when we factor in taxes and insurance on top of that, now I'm at $7,000 plus per month. How much does this thing bring in rent?
Net rent is about 6,110.
Okay, so the key here is to get ourselves 100K worth of cash flow, meaning that we need to have our payments probably around half of the rent or a little bit less. Because remember, guys, if a house rents for 6,000, you say 6,110.
Yes, sir.
It's occupied at 6,110.
He said that, yes.
Good. Good. So occupied at 6,110. We're going to take 15% off the top for the expenses we discussed with the last seller. And then we have to keep our payments below this. So we have about $5,100 in net income coming in, assuming there's no mortgage on the property. Is there a mortgage?
No, there's no mortgage.
Great. So we just got to keep our payments below the $5,193. The only issue I'm running into is I understand his need for an interest rate, but a 4% interest rate has us negatively cash flow. A 3% interest rate has us negatively cash flow. A 2% interest rate has us negatively cash flow. Actually, no, 2% makes us $600 per month. And that's not actually, no, it doesn't, because we haven't included taxes and insurance. So a 1% interest rate has us at 3,800, and then we add taxes and insurance, and now we're damn near what the house rents out for. So I will call him and I will negotiate this with him, and he's going to say, I want an interest rate. And I'm going to say, absolutely, let's get you an interest rate. Oh, by the way, 4% interest is more than you bring in per month. And he's going to be like, huh. And then I'm going to tell him, just like the last guy, I'm just like you. I'm a landlord. I'm going to put a tenant in here. I can't be paying you more than the tenants pay per month. And he's going to be like, right. So what do we do? And then I'm going to inflate the principal. But I think you've already inflated the principal. You've offered 1.3. Do you think it might be worth a little less than that?
Honestly, I don't know. It's an off market. I couldn't find a good comps in the area, but I guess it's worth maybe 1.3. Yes.
Okay, we definitely have to find out about that, because, if it's off market and we don't have a frame of reference for what it might be worth based on days on the market, we have to figure out what it might be worth. So yeah, I'll give him a call. Quick bathroom break before I give him a call. Give me 45 seconds, guys. I'm drinking a lot of water. I'll be right back. Okay. Give me 1 second. We'll give him a call. All right, let's give him a call. Okay. What do we have here? You got a phone number for me?
Yes, I DM'd that to you.
Okay. Total net rent. Okay, cool. Yeah, your offer's where it needs to be. And we just need to comp the property and figure out what it might be worth. And it's off market. Honestly, guys, one of my best resources for comping is before I call him, I'm going to line up the map on Zillow so I know exactly where it is, because that's what I need to do. I'm going to need to figure out exactly where the property is, and I'm going to need to see what the market value is based on what other things are selling for. So let's line up the property. Here it is on Google. I'm looking at okay, I see the cross section here of D-Land. And then let's zoom in. We are in the first subdivision on the bottom. First subdivision on the bottom. Okay. So this is a triplex, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen on just the comps, not your address. This is off market. By the way, where'd you find this deal?
The realtor just sent it to me.
Okay, cool.
I was asking about other property. He told me that this property is under contract. Here's another one is off market.
Okay. So looking in the area, what do you see? 315, 285, 200. We see a 275, 260, 302 for a new build, 259. Let's see if we have any multifamily here. Multifamily. We do have one multifamily. It's a 5-bed, 3-bath duplex, and it's listed for 439. So what about this property has it worth 3x the value of this property on my screen? Okay, we have some multifamily comps right here. We have a $700,000. I mean, this looks like a 7 unit. This looks like a 7 unit for 700,000. We have 215 for a duplex, 233 for a duplex, 295 for a triplex or duplex, triplex, 295 for this triplex. Then up here, I see we have a 2 million, and this 2 million appears to be like a 40 unit complex of sorts. Here's another property looking like another triplex for 470. So my biggest question here is, what happens at your 8-year balloon when we owe this guy 2 times what the property is worth?
You will not be able to refinance, but
no, he sues us. He sues us and he reclaims the property. We go through a lawsuit and we go through foreclosure. So we have to be careful here. He wants to do a package deal, but we might be way, way, way above what this property is worth. So what's the package? We got one triplex. I see you've got Woodland and then another Woodland. Are they both triplexes?
No, one is commercial and residential at the same time. It's a commercial. The down unit and the upper unit is residential.
Its estimate on this is 400,000, and then the other property that we looked at, its estimate is going to be, I don't really know. Its estimate on that, it says it's a unit. Do we have a value estimate though? Yeah, 242, which is kind of what we were seeing. So we've got 400 for the commercial and 242, but let's say it's not 242. Let's say it's 350, 100K higher than this estimate. They're wrong. 350 for that one, and let's say the other one is not 400. Let's say it's 650. We're still $350,000 above market value, and that's adding 100,000 to each valuation of each property. So this guy wants to stack an interest rate onto the deal to slow us from paying down the property. Interest slows down the rate at which you pay down the property, and that, I mean, we're gonna be underwater. We're gonna be pretty big underwater. So I'll give him a call, but I think our pricing is pretty far off from market value. I would say that one of the buildings is worth 350 and the other one is worth about 250. So 350 plus 250 is 600. So I think we're probably worth about 600 at market value. And I think that we're offering 1.3 in 8 years. And I think even in 8 years, the package probably still will be worth maybe 800K, maybe 900K. That's 200K appreciation in 8 years, maybe 900K, 300K appreciation in 8 years. But even then, we couldn't refinance him out of the deal. Then, of course, there's also the cash flow constriction, whereas he's bringing in. So this is where the price becomes an issue. The price is way, way, way above market value, and we can be above market value, but not 900,000 or I should say 700,000 above market value. And then we definitely can't add any interest rate of any kind onto the property. So this guy's going to be pretty peeved when I call him. Are you sure you want me to call him? Because I'm going to deliver reality.
I mean, let's give it a shot, you know?
Okay, I'm ready. So let's go ahead and give this guy a call. You are speaking to a Mr. Brandon.
Yes.
Got it. I'll tread lightly here. Somebody says, any tips for when people have an unrealistic price? Listen to this.
This is Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. My name's Richard Taylor. You were speaking with Omar. He's an acquisitions manager of mine about your properties in Deland, Florida.
Probably. I've been speaking to a lot of guys.
Oh, sorry about that. I he offered you a pretty good offer. It looks like he sent you an offer of 1.3 million with 100K down. He wanted to pay you like 2K a month on an 8-year balloon.
On those DeLand properties, sir, I have presented everything to the seller, and he has not decided. He's just been dragging his feet. He was in Thailand for 2 weeks, then he came back with COVID.
Oh man!
So it's been a challenge just to even get him on the phone.
I get that. I just got back from Southeast Asia myself. It's something else out there. So yeah. I guess I'll ask this: what's he looking to get for the 306 Woodland property?
He wants to just sell them together because he don't want to deal with it.
Okay, got it. So Woodland and that 306 and 332. And what's his package price for the both of those?
We were at 1.2, but it was all about how it was structured. So, I think Omar. I think I was emailing him back and forth. It's all about what he's going to net out of it, right? So if he's got, sorry, I got 6 kids I'm making food for.
No worries.
He would probably do it at like a 5.5 rate if you just amortize that out. He's not going to do it at a no interest rate,
for sure.
Which is kind of what it looked like what Omar had sent, but I could be wrong.
For sure,
because I do a lot of these.
So $1.2 million, and then we have what is he looking for on a down payment?
He didn't. So some of my guys want a lot down. He didn't really. That didn't bother him so much. What the down was. Here, Bear. This is here, but it's probably gonna be a little warm. All right. Saucer pizza. I would probably say at least 20%.
Okay, so he's looking for like 240,000 down, and then you said 5% interest.
Yeah, but I mean, and then again, like the monthly payments, I don't think he necessarily super cares.
Right. Now, a 5% interest rate on 1.2 with 240 down inherently has payments of $5,100 per month, and then taxes and insurance would push us to about $7,500 per month, which is totally fine. Do you know what he's bringing in monthly on this thing?
I sent it to Omar. 1 second.
He says 6,110. I just wanted to see if that's accurate.
I have the spreadsheet here.
Yeah. So
here's how all right.
So I'd be happy
that can be all kind of deferred to the payoff.
What do you mean by deferred to the payoff?
So let's say, let's say the mortgage payment's $5,000, okay, and you're making $1,500 a month. So that $3,000 a month is going to be deferred. So the lump sum is the other 80% plus that.
Huh? I'm not quite following. Deferred. Do you mean it'll go towards the debt?
No, that's the compound will be the deferred payment
So at the balloon, it's whatever that interest isn't paid plus the initial balance.
Okay. Well, I see the income on this thing is about 6,110. And a 5% interest rate is a good interest rate. However, that has me paying about 7,500. So the boat I'm kind of in, if we remove the property and we just look at the numbers, is how do you feel about dropping 250,000 with closing costs, $250,000, and then I give you back? Well, I don't give you back. I continue to take 2,000. So imagine I break into your house and I steal $250,000 from you. And as you're like, hey, give that back, I'm like, wait, don't worry. I'll continue to take 1,500 a month from you. You know, that doesn't exactly sit right with you investment wise. I still kind of stole your $250,000, right?
I have to walk away from all these kids.
It's all good. I guess what I'm saying is, you know, I'm putting down $250,000. I'm spending 7,500 a month, and I'm bringing in 6,100 a month. And I will say it's kind of hard for me to spin that, no matter what my payment gets deferred to. You know.
Well, you're technically not paying the 7,100. You're only paying 1,500. So you're deferring. So take it this way: what would be on an amortization schedule? What would be the? Let me think of an easier way to explain this.
Well, we have a principal and interest payment, and a standard amortization is 30 years, 360 months. And when we take the principal, which will be 960, that's the 1.2 less the 240 down, 20%. We're left with 5,153 per month. With taxes and insurance, there's no way really around it. I'm paying 7,500 a month there. So I'd love to buy this property. I would. I've got a number of others like it, but the thing that I'm running into is I'm going to have to pay 7,500 when we're bringing in 61, which is kind of like why we structured it without an interest rate, because even a 3% interest rate has me losing money on this thing per month. Even a 2% interest rate has me breaking even. So what I did, or what my acquisitions manager did, is he added money on top of the principal to act as interest and said, hey, we'll give you a payment within that. And we're offering well above what the property is worth, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if you take the down payment, take the monthly payments, and then the balloon, what is that total? It's 1.3, right?
I don't know what you mean by the down payment and the monthly payments and the balloon, but if the purchase price is 1.3, yes, the purchase price is 1.3.
Right. At the end of 8 years, he's only made $120,000 on loaning that money out.
Yeah. So if we did a balloon in 8 years, I'd owe him around 824. But I guess that the main thing I'm talking about is we inherently have a 5% interest rate, and that is inherently going to give $5,000 in payments. And with taxes and insurance on top, now it's $7,000. How do I trade $250K for negative $1,500 per month? I just don't understand the deferred thing.
You're not paying him $7,000 a month.
Well, then I'm not
paying him $1,500 a month. So you're cash flowing $4,000 a month you can put into another asset.
For sure. But if we stack 5% interest onto 960, which is the principal less the down payment, it inherently has that rate. So or that payment. So it's either $5,000 or it isn't a 5% interest rate. You know, it can't really be 5% interest and we're also going to pay you $1,500 a month, because even 5% interest only is well above $1,500 a month.
So he's going to want to make a 5% return on his money.
That's sure. I get that, but 5% interest inherently has $7,500 in payments on this. There's no way I can spin it where it doesn't. So what we're asking an investor to do is to drop $250,000 in exchange for negative $1,500 per month, right? You understand what I'm saying? So I'd buy this, but I think the question to go to the owner with is say, hey, we want to give you that return on investment, but is there a way that we can pay you so that we make money per month instead of losing money per month? Because it's a commercial building and it's only for investors. We couldn't really have somebody live in it. So the name of the game in investing is cash flow.
Well, it's both. It has a commercial piece up front and it has residential in the back.
Sure, but what I guess I'm saying is we couldn't have somebody buy it with an FHA loan to live in it. So what's important to investors is cash flow. And in this scenario, we pay 7 and we bring in 6. And that doesn't even include expenses of management. So I guess, can you go to the owner and say, hey, this guy would like to give you that return on investment, but a 5% interest rate inherently has him losing money. So is there a way that we can buy this thing where our monthly payments allow us to make money? Because I honestly couldn't drop $250 to lose money per month.
I'll tell you another deal I just did, and this is how it was structured. It was $850. They put 50% down. They paid him $1,500 a month for 5 years, and at the end of 5 years, they paid him a lump sum of $425. So he essentially made $100,000 in 5 years on loaning out 50%.
Yeah, it's the kind of the nature of a balloon payment, and I get that, but it's kind of a cash flow constriction here. So I guess the question to ask the owner is,
but see, on that property, it was cash flowing $6,000 a month, and they were only spinning off $1,500 to him.
Right.
They were keeping the other $4,500 to buy other assets.
Right, and the 5% interest, it just has that monthly payment on it. It just kind of has it. You know, I can't really get around it. If we go,
but how does it have a monthly payment?
If you take 1.2 million and you stack 5% interest on it, amortized over 30 years, the payment comes out to $5,153.
Yep. You're bringing in 6. You're paying out $1,500.
I must be missing something, because when title and escrow processes and records a note with the county, they're going to say the note is 1.2 million, 240 down, with 5% interest amortized over 360 months, like a standard mortgage. And they will record that note as having due monthly payments of $5,153, because that's just inherently what a 5% interest rate does to that figure. You know, I can't have 5% interest and pay $1,500 per month, because a 5% interest rate is inherently $5,000 per month. Even if it's interest only, you know, it's still like $4,000 a month. But then I don't pay down any of my debt. So where does the $1,500 come from?
That was just another offer that we got. Was one, I can read it to you.
Well, that's okay. I think we made the same offer. We offered $2,000 per month, but we paid interest at 0% and then offered above what the property is worth. Hey, I'm getting another call from another realtor right now. I'm going to go ahead and text you, but would you go to the owner and see what we can do with this?
Yeah.
Okay, huge. I got to take this call. I'm so sorry. I'll catch you later.
No worries.
See ya. All right. And M, I think you were up next here. How's your day going today?
Going good, Rich. Thanks so much for having me up.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell my editor to clip that really quick. That's a great little video right there. That's a good one. That's a good one. So I'd like a 5% interest rate. Yes, of course. Now 5% interest is $5,000. But what if you just paid $1,500? Sure, I'd like that, and we offered that. But 5% interest is going to be kind of inherently $5,000 a month. I get that, but what if you did 5% interest in $1,500? One plus one is 2, but what if it were 6? You're not thinking like I'm thinking. What if 1 plus 1 is 6? You need to lock in here, because 1 plus 1, if you squint your eyes and you're legally blind, could be 6. Do you understand where, sir? Quite frankly, I've been doing this for 20 years. So sit down. 1 plus 1, squint your eyes with me right now. Can you see how 1 plus 1 is kind of 6? Yeah, that's speaking my language. All right, so let's go ahead and clip that for social media, because I love calls like that. Yo, I just had the craziest conversation with a realtor. It wasn't an argument. It was just like, It was just unbelievable. It was unfathomable. He says he wants a 5% interest rate on about $1.2 million. And I said, great, that's $5K a month. And he says, but what if you paid $1,500 a month? And I said, of course, but 5% interest is inherently $5K a month. There's nothing I can do about it. And he says, I know, but what if it were $1,500? And I said, well, then it couldn't be 5%. And then he would say, well, they need 5%. And I'd say, right, totally understand that, but I'm losing money per month. This thing brings in 6. I'm paying 75 at 5% with taxes and insurance. And he says, well, but right, but what if you paid 1,500 at 5%? And I was like, well, unfortunately, 5%. Dude, and it wasn't an argument. It wasn't an argument. It was just, and at the end, I talk about how it's kind of like somebody saying, well, 1 + 1 could be 6 if you squint your eyes. And you're like, well, no, 1 + 1 is 2. And then they're like, well, you're not looking at it how I'm looking at it. If you stand pretty far away and you do like 20 spins first and you're dizzy and then you squint your eyes, can you see how 1 + 1 could be 6? And I'm like, I'm just not fully following on that. And it's just, oh, it's great. It's great. It's no argument. It's just a funny call. And then I end the call by saying, hey, I'm getting another call right now. I got to take it. And there's no other call. So it's just absolutely cracked me up.
That's funny as hell. I love that. I'll put that up and post it tomorrow.
Well, yeah, whenever. Just add it to the list of whatever you have. The time is currently 3:24, and I had this call maybe 15 minutes ago, and I started at 1:30 today. So we're looking at about an hour 45 in, maybe.
All right, cool. Sounds good. I'll write that down.
Yeah. Okay. You're not. You're feeling a little sick or something?
Dude, I'm feeling like absolute ass. I really don't know what it is, but I have the worst nausea right now.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's what I ate or something, but I just feel bad. I'll talk to you when you get out the stream. But
dude, what I would do if I were you is I would DoorDash Dramamine. That'll help a lot.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm sorry about that. No worries about the boat today, man. Get some rest.
Yeah, no, I got you. I'll text you.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Damn. I just had 2 people back out of our boat date. We're supposed to bring everybody on the boat tonight. Okay. I just love calls like that. I'm sorry for the interruption. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Rich. Thanks for having me up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where are you calling out of?
I'm calling out of Nigeria.
He's calling out of Nigeria. You're doing this from Nigeria, man?
Yeah.
How's it going, man? Is that hard? Are you getting traction? What's that like?
It's kind of hard, but yeah, we're pushing it. I mean, I believe the work, so yeah, we got to do it.
Well, your English is great, man. You're killing it. I'm guessing that's your second language.
Well, English is the official language, so yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's news to me. I had no idea. Well, anyways, man, it's cool to see that you're doing it from around the country. I'll try to be quick. I bet it's pretty late where you're at right now. What time is it over there?
11:26 p.m.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well we'll go quick here for you. What can I help you out with?
Yeah, so I have a Section 8. This could be my first deal. It cash flows like crazy. I couldn't believe it, but I just want you to review it to see if it's something that would fly. I'm trying to lock on my first one here.
OB3 looks like Joshua's accepting our offer. I'll call him when I'm done with these questions, but I'm gonna go ahead and it's not showing me your DMs, man. I'm trying to look at your DMs and it just won't show me. I click message and it just disappears. Maybe Discord's tripping, but
I should send you the address.
It literally will not let me look at my DMs right now. Is anybody else experiencing that? Hey, I'm 15 years old. Can you bring me up? I have a cash offer accepted. You're damn right. I'll bring you up. All right. I can't look at your DMs. You'd have to either tell me the address and put it in this has never happened before, but I wish I'll share my screen. Look at this. Check this out. Watch my screen share. Ready? I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click message and it just disappears. Click here, click message, just disappears. Click here, click message, disappears. And then I go in here and it's not letting me see my DMs. So unfortunately, the only way for me to see this address at this time would probably be for you to tell to me out loud or for you to put it in the chat. Or
okay, I can put it in chat because I actually have it on the contract.
great, that's very helpful. Yeah, guys, I don't know what's going on with Discord. Zakai, the 15-year-old, I've just invited you up. Yeah, I don't know why.
He's not letting me even put it in the chat. Well, I'll just call it out for you.
Okay, do it. What's your address?
Okay, 16901 Log Cabin Street, Highland Park.
Detroit.
Highland Park.
Highland Park is like this interesting area within Detroit itself. So yeah, cool. Okay, so we're looking at a single family, right? Single family listed.
No, it's a duplex.
Oh, it's listed as a single family. Cool, duplex. So is it if it's a legal duplex by chance?
No, I didn't ask the realtor.
Okay. I would ask about that because public record shows single family and Zillow shows single family. And then the other thing I'll do to confirm that it may or may not be a single family is going to be how many meters do we have here? And I'm going to check our meters really quickly. So let's check these meters. How many meters we got? I can't see the meters. Let's go to the other side of the house. Sometimes they're visible, sometimes they're not. Oof, no meters, no visible meters. Also no visible second entry and no path. Well, maybe there's a visible second entry. Yeah, I can't see it there. If we go right here, can we see? That's the next photo. I can't really tell. Yeah, and then the other thing is there's no second address on it. So it's 16901. I don't see the other address or another mailbox. There's usually another mailbox right here. It could be around the corner. But
but he told me it's a duplex. He said the upper unit was renting for $950. It's a 1-bed, 1.5 bath. He said the lower unit was renting for $1,200.
Oh, I see a second entrance here. And I do see 2 meters. So he has a picture of 2 meters. So that's helpful. Yeah, I see. He's listed it as a single family, but you're right. It is a duplex. And I can actually see the second meter. He did a little bit of AIing right here. So it's making it look nicer than it actually is. But yeah, look at that. He AI'd the lawn mode and the lawn ain't mode. Yeah. So he made it look real pretty. Yeah, okay. So we've got a duplex. It needs a roof. What's the game plan with the duplex?
It's a section needs.
Okay. I think the interior condition looks good, but much like the seller I spoke to at the beginning of this, well, wait a second. That roof looks different than. There's so much AI in these photos that it's hard to tell. So I'm checking. Oh yeah, there's a real photo of the property. Yeah, that needs a roof, man. Check out the roof. You see that roof? He actually photoshopped it. Now we call it AI, but check this out. There's one angle of the roof, but when we see the real un-AI'd photo, which is this one right here, that roof looks old. And then when we check the July 2026 street view, that's a 10-year roof, damn near the end of its life. So I'd want to know how old that roof is. I feel like it's a 10-year roof that's about 6 years into its life. I'd want to know because my buyers, they really do care about the condition of the property. And if it's going to need a new roof, which to me, it kind of looks like it's going to need a new roof, it'll need a new roof. So I'd ask him about that before we jump into this any deeper, because that's kind of something that we need. There's just a lot of AI on the property that kind of makes it look super nice, but it's looking like we need roof and siding on this. I think the cash on cash return is good, but it's looking like roof and siding. The other thing buyers care about is going to be our spot crime in the area. So let's check our spot crime. Yeah, man. So the reason I had an inclination about this, you see how there's a burglary then right on top of the burglary, there is there's a shot. Somebody broke into a house and then they were met with gunfire. See how there's an assault right here with marks right on top of it. Somebody assaulted somebody else and they gunned them down. And it's just like a couple blocks from the property. And then you even got more down here. So I would say, man, for multiple reasons, the buyers wouldn't love this. It's possible if we do it on seller finance. So on seller finance, if you can give this guy like 15K down in monthly payments, yeah, somebody will pick it up. But as of right now, man, we'd have to get him to do a concession for the roof. But even beyond the roof, the shootings in the area make this thing hard. This is a violent area. And part of what let me know that it was a violent area is just kind of looking around the surrounding neighborhood. These big open swaths of land right here that you see, oftentimes, for whatever reason, just kind of correspond with gang areas. And that's kind of what we have going on here. So these shootings, if we look at when these happened, first shooting was on the 4th. That was 3 days ago, 2.5 days ago. Second shooting was on the 4th. So kind of lets you know that it's like a drive-by or something like that. And then third shooting was on the 3rd. So in the past week, we've had 3 recorded gunshots. That's not a place where we're going to have a good time finding tenants, buyers, or really anything. I know the house looks great, but a lot of what we're seeing here is AI.
Okay, man, I'll give the realtor a call back.
Yeah, I just talked to him about that. I'd say, hey, looks like you need a new roof. And if he's like, nuh-uh, well, send him this picture. We do have one photo where we can kind of see that. So here's the photo where we can kind of see the true condition. There's also an abandoned house in the back. Let's check out the abandoned house in the back. Here's the abandoned house in the back in the same photo. And then also looks like a ton of shooting. So I'd tell him this. I'd say, hey, man, we'd get this done. We would get this done. But the way that we'd get this done is seller financing. These are shootings that happened in the past couple days. So I'm, oh yeah, this shooting was actually on the 5th. So this happened like a day and a half ago. So these are definitely things to look at here. Anyways, man, I'm going to talk to, well, I'm nervous to say that name, but Sasik? I'm going to say Sasik is his name. Anyways, dude, I would go to them and I'd pitch seller finance.
Okay, man. Thanks so much.
Kasik. Got it. Sorry about that, man. I was thinking, I saw the C and I thought Sasik, but Kasik. Got it. Hey, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing today?
I'm good. Hey, Richard, man, I know you busy. I just want to get straight to it because I did speak to Kara about this particular property. But it's I sent you a message on it, but I saw you demonstrating that you can't really access your messages. But because this is already locked up, I mean under contract, I could just go ahead and give you the address.
It's working now for whatever reason. I'm looking at your messages now.
So yeah, because I'm thinking, I may have to cancel, today. The whole thing was let me just verify you got the address so I'm just not making noise or rambling here.
It's all good. I do see an address in my DMs. It looks like the address is on Yorkshire.
No, that's the other one. That's what I'm gonna get to, in a minute. I just wanted to clear the air with this one because this one is 15. Yeah, this one is gonna be 15. 700 Mark Twain Street, and the thing is, he had already knocked it down. By $24,000. The thing is, what I was looking at with this property, and the reason I didn't terminate the contract and shit, is because it has some things in here that's kind of hitting. What I mean is that as far as it is in the standard raw Detroit shell that needs a $35,000 mechanical overhaul. So because the previous investor, they already put in a brand new 3D shingle roof, PVC plumbing, electrical panels, and all that stuff, new natural gas furnace.
Really quick, am I looking at the right one? Is this the right one on my 15700 Mark Twain? Is this the right one?
Yeah, and the realtor, he just hit me. He sent me a text. So I just told him, hold on, I get with him because I wanted to just get a second opinion because Kara did say that it really was too close because he shouldn't have did the 24,000 price drop on it, but he was telling me that he wasn't willing to go beyond no more than 70,000. But when I was looking at the comps, what I was looking at, I said, well, in terms of the rehab, if it has eventually everything is pretty much brand new, might need a $10,000 cosmetic cleanup. So I was looking, and then the thing is that when the ARV is pretty much 155,000. So I was looking that's still money, on the table, being as though it has that 55,000 instant equity cushion, So that's like what 14.9% cash. You know, what I'm saying, on yield.
So really quick,
like,
can you see my screen right here?
Hold on, let me see. Wait, let me move this chat thing. Okay, yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So looks like the house caught on fire. It may not have caught on fire, but do you see this right here?
No, that looked like a fire. I didn't zoom in on that. That's my negligence there. Yeah.
So we're gonna need new window framing. We're gonna need new shingles. We're gonna need new fascia. This is the fascia right here. We're gonna need a new roof, and then if that's fire damage, it's a lot deeper than that. It may or may not be fire damage. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll verify it with
the inside of the house looks better. As I look around, oh, come on, what's going on in Google? As I look around, it doesn't quite look completed. Right here, it kind of looks like they haven't laid down the carpet and they put some interesting stuff on the wall. So are we looking at this as a rental or a fix and flip? Because I will say this kind of has to be a fix and flip, man.
Yeah, let me see.
Because stuff like this doesn't fly.
I probably, would say that, but what I really was trying to clarify was that, does it seem like there's any room on the table? Like I say, he had it at, 75. I had it at 70. He was very stubborn on going to, because he's like, hey, I just did 24,000. But Kira was explaining to me that, hey, basically, like when he did that, that kind of raises some red flags, to paraphrase, because now people are looking at it from a different, perspective. So
yeah. Looks
I
like
just didn't want to leave, because I think at one point, maybe with a deal or so, I'm saying, y'all had something where, you bought it for less, but then was able to sell it for more than the listing price. I'm just thinking out loud roughly, but
for sure.
Yeah, I was just looking at as far as 55, having, even if a person put $100,000 all in, say, let's say 90,000 plus $10,000 cosmetic fee, or, saying with those, you still get about roughly 55,000 in terms of the, I thought it was just worth, mentioning, or, to the table.
Yeah. So let me check it out, man. If I look at this property here, I can see that we're in pretty distressed condition. If these are the accurate photos of the property, it definitely has to go fix and flip. And if it has to be a fix and flip, we kind of got to ask ourselves, well, what is this thing going to sell for after it's renovated? So here's the house. We found it on Zillow. I'm going to zoom in here on Zillow, and I'm just going to look in the area and see if we could potentially renovate the property for a bit of profit. So I'm going to draw around the general vicinity of the property, and it's all about putting together good investment packages. So guys, I'll talk a little bit about how to find that in a moment here, but I can see that this is a 3-1 with 1,435 square feet, and I just have to see what those would be selling for if they've been renovated. So we're going to do 3-1, 1,435 square feet, and we're just going to look at houses. So 3-1, 1,435 square feet. We're going to go ahead and check the past 12 months of sales. That's 24, past 12 months of sales. And then we're going to price these high to low and see what our potential ARV could be. So this guy's much bigger than us, so he's not quite the same. This is a package. How do we know this is a package deal? Well, we can see that the house it's got a really old photo on it, doesn't look renovated. That kind of lets me know that, yeah, you didn't renovate it, but somehow you sold for 170, which means that you probably sold it with multiple properties. So this is a flip, but it's too big for us to comp. This is a flip, but it's too big to comp. This right here is pretty close to what we are. That's pretty close to what we are. So $157,000. So I think that's a 4.2. So maybe we sell for 145. But I'm thinking to myself that we could probably sell for 145, 150. Now we have to get it at a price where we can renovate it and make money on top of that. As I look through this, I see a lot of handyman work. When I look at the kitchen, I think the kitchen looks good. But I see a lot of things that I'm like, yeah, that's not going to fly. That layout won't sell, and the way that he's done this work won't fly. So none of this, like the grout in between the gap in the wall, and it just kind of the messy job that he's done here with. It looks like he took some wood and hammered the wood into the carpet for fun after using 2 different types of carpet. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to use 2 different types of carpet. The carpet ends here, and then new carpet, and I'm going to hammer down that carpet with some pieces of wood. And then he took some tile here and he kind of grouted it onto the wall. And we can see that it's kind of a shitty job. So this is something that, oh my goodness. That's exposed brick inside the house. What did he do? What
I
have
don't know how I neglected to really look at those details, but yeah, I'm really seeing this. Now he's appearing desperate because he's been hitting me, but I was trying to really get on, so I could just
look at the tile. Look at the tile. You see the tile? How it doesn't line up? So this guy ruined the house. This is worse than distressed. This is
like a bad carpenter.
Yeah, so look right here. Look at this interesting thing. What could that even be?
Okay.
What could that even be right there, guys? I don't even know. But the thing is, this has been renovated, and he renovated it like this. Look at this mismatch right here. So the only thing I couldn't even get a buyer to creative finance this. The only thing we could do is probably offer him 10K. We could probably offer him 10K for the house and somebody would take on the project. But what this entails is undoing everything he's done. It's a coding nightmare. See, in the United States, we have... Wow. What the hell is that? Look at this thing, guys. What the hell?
It's like they just set that nestled that in there, like they carved out a hole and
what the
and look, I didn't even see the switch thing like over there, like I guess that's supposed to be the light, something like that. Like yeah, I'm gonna have to just let him know that he can't because I should have. He said the other person they had it under contract and they dropped it, so forth. This is bad.
You know what this looks like to me? I was just in the Philippines. I was just in the Philippines, and in the Philippines, you have no code whatsoever. There's no up to code. You just do whatever the hell you want in the Philippines. And when I was in the Philippines, you go into people's houses, like my VA's houses, and like their dad or just somebody they knew kind of puts things together, and it kind of looks like this, and you're like, well, okay, all right. And I guess that's just how it is. But in the United States, man, that doesn't fly. So if we tried to obtain a loan on this property, we wouldn't get it. They wouldn't let us get a loan. So this thing to me is it's a fire damaged mismatch of it's, honestly, I would refer to this as a collection of rock and metal.
So wait a minute. Let me ask you this real quick. I'm not going to hold you. The whole thing with the like you say you would probably offer him 10,000.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Would that be too deep if he said
30?
Like, hey, 35,000 cash? Saying can't do no better.
Well,
leave it.
30. Okay, so I think the rehab is probably going to be like 60, maybe 70. But if it's fire damaged, I mean, you can always shoot your shot, man. You can go on Buy Box Cartel and you can look at the buyers, and there's buyers right in this area. But dude, as a flipper,
they said 55,000 on Buy Box, Cartel. If I'm not mistaken, for this one, it said 55,000.
But it's not taking into account the condition of what this is, right? So you put it in with the rehab that you put in, and that's what it said it should be, right? But in reality, this whole thing has to be undone, and then it also might. It looks like it might have caught on fire. I don't even know what could have happened here. So, dude, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't touch this deal with any strategy. This is, as I said, it's a collection of rock and metal and drywall. Yeah. And I just don't know what I would do with this property apart from offering 10K. It's like it's just rough.
Yeah. So okay, now the last one, I'll go ahead and scratch that. But on the other one, the Yorkshire, I just saw that guy, he sent me the contract fee, and I think he had it off market at first, but anyway, he had it for $69.9. And I was telling, he said it got squatters in it. That's the Yorkshire one that I DM'd you. He said it has squatters in it, and he was like, so we won't be able to see the interior, of the the property. So I had it where we have a 30-day closing, like offered 50,000, where he had it at $69.9. And so like what happened with that was I just happened to look today, and yesterday he dropped it by $10,000, even though I didn't sign a thing, because I asked him could we increase the days to the closing date to 60, to buy time to get the squatters, out of the house, and also give me time to get up here with you, to explain it, because I was trying to put things into the buy box, the pipeline, but I was having something wasn't working right. I don't know, maybe it was me, but I have, he lowered that one down to, as of yesterday, to I said 59,900.
Don't rely on a algorithm to tell you where to be. Rely on understanding real estate investing. So there's really just two things that people do with houses in Detroit and in cheap markets. They're going to rent them out or they're going to renovate them. And if we're renovating them, it's all about putting the rehab in and selling for a profit and having a cookie cutter renovation where we don't have to undo somebody's terrible work. If we're renting the property, it's all about being in good enough condition to actually pass an inspection. And then beyond that, it's about having a good cash on cash return plus a discount off of list price. So as I look at this property, my first instinct is fix and flip. Why do I think fix and flip? We have a really destroyed concrete in the back where trees are running through, like roots are going through. The deck is falling apart on the deck. And then as we look in the front of the house, we can see that we're missing the flashing right here, or fascia, whatever you may call it. And then we also have some cracking in the front as well, and then a board on the window because it broke. So this is a flip. This is definitely a flip. When I think about the two entries to a deal, I think it's a flip, and they're marketing it as a fix and flip. It has to be a flip. How much renovation would this need? Well, that kind of depends. How much is it going to need? Deck needs to be rebuilt. Garage probably needs to be demoed, largely because the concrete beneath it is like there's roots running through it. So we need to take out the roots, which requires a big excavator. Oh wow! And then look at this brick right here holding up the deck. So it's okay to do big rehabs, man, but they don't show you the inside of this house, and I think they don't show you for a reason. And I think the reason is it's rough. So the days on market, 18 hours could be fine. Looks like they have squatters too. So there's.
No, he told me they had squatters in there, and that's why I was asking him. We originally agreed at the for the 30-day closing. I locked it up for 50, and then I asked him for 60 because I was trying to get a pip. I know you had a lot of people, and my thing was, I asked him for 60 days, and he said no. He said I've basically done.
We don't need a 60-day closing.
And he said I'm not.
But we don't need a 60-day closing. There's no 60-day closing. Can you hear me? There's no need for a 60-day closing. So we don't need to do a 60-day closing. What we need to do is understand what the inside looks like, because outside alone, I'm seeing 50K. I'm seeing 50K on the outside. Where does my 50K go to on the outside of the property? Well, we've probably got like 5K on this new deck or so. It is a little bit of a higher deck. We've got to do that. We've got to fix the concrete in the back. This is a big problem. This concrete right here is a big problem. And then we got to tear down the garage, get an excavator in there, landscape. We have to fix the brick that's shifted as well. And then we have to do the fascia and then the roof, so probably about $50,000 on the exterior of the property, largely because of this concrete. I mean, just fixing the deck and the roof, that's probably only 20, but then we got the garage and the landscaping and the concrete and then the other deck as well. So, and then we haven't even entered the inside yet. So, a hard fix and flip, man, a hard fix and flip. I don't want you to rely on softwares. I want you to understand real estate. So this is the last flip that I purchased, and I want to show you why I bought the property so that it can help you understand why a buyer buys. So this is my last fix and flip. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen on it. Can you see my screen right now?
Yeah.
So as we go through the property, what do you notice about the roof on this? How does it look like it's done? Nicely. Yeah, it's pretty new, and as we look at the brick and everything, it's in decent shape. Sure, we need a new window right here, but it's in decent shape. And as I look at the property in different lightings and from different angles, you start to realize that it really is a beautiful property, and it really is like a 1920s work of art that we just don't do projects like this anymore. We don't make houses like this anymore because it's too expensive. Moving into the property, we got ugly carpet. They put some mirror on the wall. It's gross. It's just gross inside, but you can see the electrical's working right here. And we can see that the bathroom's also gross on the inside. So we know it's a fix and flip by how gross it is. And then it comes down to the comps. Then when we look at the comps for the property, we can see that the comps are selling for like $180,000 to $200,000. And I'll go ahead and show you that right here. So let's grab the zip code. And then let's find the property. The property is down here on Tracy Street. Let's see if we can find Tracy. Ward Avenue, Apolline, Tracy. There it is. Now, a good sign is that the neighbors are already listed for a lot. right? We already have a lot of higher prices here. You know how much I paid for this? I paid 70. Here's a distressed property for 109. So I bought this thing for.
That's cruise. I thought I had. Oh, wait a minute.
So
Go ahead, my fault.
so if we look around here and we just draw in this general vicinity, what we want to see is similar beds and baths and square footage selling for more. Now I see that they're asking 200 for this guy right here, but that's asking. We want to see sold. It's important to note that as we look through these photos, they've got a massive, massive attic. Can you guess what I've decided to do with this massive attic?
Turn it to a room?
That's exactly right. We're turning it into legal square footage. So this is a huge space. It's a bedroom and a bathroom. And as I look at this property, we're adding about 400 square feet to it, and we're finishing the basement. So we're probably looking at 400 more. That puts us at just about 1,700 square feet, 1,670 square feet when we're all done. Now, if we go ahead and we look at properties in the area with 1,670 square feet, well, these don't have 1,670, but we got to scroll down and find one that does. Great. This is 980 square feet for 200K. This is 1,000 or 1,100 square feet for 167 and 2,000 square feet for 200, right? And we're prettier than all of these properties. And these guys all did black and white rehabs, whereas I'm doing a really nice, tasteful rehab with butcher block and this turquoise tile that we found. So, you know, we'll sell for about 200 to 210, and I bought it for 70, and I'm putting in 50. So I'm in it for about 130, 135 with expenses, and I should be able to sell it for a baseline of about $190,000. Anyways, man, I got to move on, but while you're still listening, don't rely on your calculators. Understand why people buy real estate. Understand why they buy real estate. And they buy real estate to pick up a good rental, or they buy real estate to do a cookie cutter fix and flip. It could be a massive fix and flip as well, but you know, those are important things. Those are important factors here. So, with that said, I'm going to make a brief call to an agent, and then I got to head out. I'm going out on my boat today. I have a guy coming over, and I got to eat before that. So I'm going to call Joshua, the 17 unit for OB3, and we're going to do a realistic phone call now. We haven't had any realistic phone calls today, but we're going to do it now. Joshua, how's it going?
It's going well, man. How are you?
Doing really well. I only have about 10 minutes here. This has been a crazy packed day, but I wanted to try to get to you before the end of the day. What's going on?
I appreciate that.
I haven't read any of your texts today.
Okay, no, awesome. Look, that turn 10 minutes is about what I have to, actually, so perfect timing. So I got off with the seller. The seller's like, look, you know, qualified, right? I said, you show me your bank statements. And he said, okay, the only thing he really has concerns about is he really doesn't want to have to deal with the step-ups in taxes and insurance. Like, he is adamant that, hey, for this to work, it would have to be basically you're buying into the LP, right? You, again, airtight, operationally, all the stuff they want to put legally. I mean, that's all legal paperwork, but the lender not finding out is obviously, it's a given with a wrap. But then he really doesn't want to have to go through title, because he's just, if title, if the city sees, hey, this thing's transacting, there's going to be a step up in tax and insurance. He just got done with a battle with the city to go ahead and keep the rates where they're at for the taxes, and then of course commensurately the insurance. So the way he's designing it, he said, look, 150, that's fine. He'll take, because he has to pay us. We kind of haggled back and forth right about our fee. I told him I'd work with him just to make it work. He then has, the 0% interest, 2,000. That he said fine, but then what it would have to be is that there's you're basically buying into the LLC as a junior partner.
That's what we want to do, because if the property sells, the taxes get reassessed. That destroys my cash flow. I totally understand that need. And that's why we want to put the property into a trust and join the trust. Legally speaking, it's not a real estate transaction. Legally speaking, it's a personal property transfer. We go through an attorney to close this type of deal who puts it into a trust, rather than somebody who's actually going to process the title work on this. So yeah, that's my interest too, man. I don't want all of my taxes to go through the roof. So that's why, rather than doing a sale, we're going to add an owner to the property and then create this $1.4 million note within that trust, if that makes sense. So it's the exact same scenario.
So let me ask you this then, because this might just be my own ignorance. So this trust, because how does that differ from, well, let me put it this way. What he wants is that there would still be LLP, because it's called LP Real Estate Holdings, right? So he would still have LP Real Estate Holdings, and you basically just come in there, right? And then obviously when the balloon happens, it's yours. You buy out, or obviously at that point you're refining, right? So, or selling. So that's what he has in mind. Now this trust, you know, would it show up when I go on LandGlide? I don't know if you use LandGlide, and I see, hey, who owns this piece of property? And I see LP Real Estate Holdings. After you initiate this trust, would it show the trust name, or would it just still be LP Real Estate Holdings? I guess that's really what it's coming down to.
What we're doing is, so let's say your client creates an entity for the property and puts the property into that entity. That's not a sale, right? That's just creating an entity. Like you can, like for example,
so if he moves it,
if if your parents have property and they're going to give you their property, they're going to put it into a trust before they give it to you. Putting a property into a trust is not a sale. It's just asset protection. It's, you know, if your family owns real estate, you need to tell them to put it into a trust so that when they transfer the property to you, you don't pay 20% capital gains tax on when they bought the property for, the difference between that and what it's worth now. So putting a property into a trust is not a sale, just like putting a property into an LLC is not a sale. What we want to do is we want to join the trust that owns the property. A trust offers more protection and more less tax liability than an LLC. So it's an instrument that we use to protect our assets. And when you ask about who owns the property, it is going to be both your client and myself. Your client is going to show up as 10% owner of the trust, showing that he never left the entity, meaning it never actually sold or changed hands. He just added an owner onto it, just like if I joined his LLC. And I'm going to own 90% of it, and I'm going to have all the responsibility for upkeep of the trust and the property within it, and then the taxes and the insurance. And it will act as a sale, but not really. Legally speaking, it's called a personal property transfer rather than a real estate transaction. And what I suggest that we do is I get you on a phone call with the guy who sets up the trust with your seller. Because when you talk to him, he's going to be able to talk more in depth about the tax side of things. But I think we're really, really close here. I think that he wants to do it within an LLC and I want to do it within a trust, and it's the exact same mechanism. One of them just has a little bit more protection, if that makes sense.
Well, so then I guess we're good on taxes and insurance.
Yeah.
What happens when in a couple of years we have to go ahead or he has to refi the current loan, right? And
he doesn't.
The rate cap and everything.
I'm going to refi. He doesn't have to. So because I'm going to hold the controlling interest of the trust, I'm going to be the one who refis. So you don't have to be the debt holder on a property to be the one that refinances. You have to be the owner of a property to be the one that refinances. So when that happens, his mortgage is paid off in full, his equity is paid off in full, and we walk away and the trust is dissolved.
No. So that, I'm not talking about the final refi. I'm talking about, so he has that existing loan that you're wrapping around, that loan. Because that one comes due in a couple of years, right? So
I didn't know there was a balloon on that. There's a balloon on that loan?
Yes.
Oh, so is it hard money?
No, it's a regular bank loan. It's 6.1%. So part of the deal is that he's going to do a rate cap for whoever comes in, because that's the 872, right? That loan does have a loan. I mean, it's a bank he works with very frequently. I mean, they're not going to call it, but that's really the biggest reason why he's like, okay, hey, this has to be above board, because it's still LP Real Estate Holdings, right? He's going to go ahead and refi, and if it's higher, you know, he'll pay everything over 6.5%. But that's really the interesting. That's the stopgap here.
So why don't we just refi now? Because I'll be honest, we are just now learning that his loan has a maturity date in 3 years. Like that, I didn't. You know, we hadn't previously discussed that. So I was intending to take over the debt until the balloon. But if that debt comes due, I'm liable for that debt. And he can say, oh, you own the trust that owns the property. That debt is something that you have to refinance. And it could create this massive mess. So honestly, I can't take over debt that's due in 3 years. I would need him to refinance that into a 30-year mortgage, and then we can take over the debt.
Well, you definitely can't get a 30-year on that. Like, nothing's going for 30 years these days, especially not that kind of, Section 8 property. Okay.
Yeah, well, DSCR loans are 30-year.
DSCRs are much higher rates. I mean, you're getting he's at 6.1%. If you try and do a DSCR on this, you're looking at 8, easy. You know, that's not
the end of the world. It should only change the payment by maybe $1,000 or less than that even. But if we're looking at a high, what amount does he owe on his balance?
872. If
he's refinancing 872 with the DSCR, it would be 30 years. And honestly, I would imagine he's probably getting around a 7% with a DSCR nowadays. I mean, you can get retail loans at 5.99% nowadays.
I mean,
So it might be worth a shot because honestly, hard stop, I can only take this over if we have a maturity date that's in line with the balloon, or else I'm liable for the debt that he owes. And honestly, as far as the refinance, that would fall on me. That wouldn't fall on him. And I can't take over debt that's due in a couple of years. You know, I'm glad that we're crossing this bridge now because I didn't know about that at all.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's not, again, that's on you if you have the trust set up, right? So the way he's been organizing this is, one, look, he has a personal guarantee on the loan, right? He's not going to, so it's actually not on you really, it's on him. Even in this scenario, he has the most skin in the game, right? So, and that's one of the things he's impressed upon me. He has a personal guarantee on almost $900,000. So he's going to refinance. He's going to keep that going. Now, part of what we've discussed is no one knows what rates are going to do. So he was the one who offered, said, Josh, look, tell the buyer, I'm going to do a rate cap. Basically, he's going to refinance because otherwise he'd have to bring $900,000 to the table. He's not going to do that. Otherwise, why are we in this position? That's number one. Number two is that he needs to go ahead and get the refinance done, and it's going to be at 6.5%, meaning that whatever, it's at 7.25%, he has to assume, and that's probably what, out of the 2,000, that's what he's going to do, right? He's going to say, okay, fine, let's keep this thing going. So that's where if it were to happen, again, I'll talk to him about the refinance. There's a couple of issues I can see being an issue with that, right? Time is one.
If I'm doing a wrap, my down payment is drastically lower because I don't get to depreciate the asset. Accelerated depreciation and cost segregation is only if you hold title. And honestly, I wouldn't be able to do that if I had that. So what I would say is, if we're doing a wrap, that's okay. But what I will say is that we need to hold title, and this wrap structure doesn't allow us to hold title. So I'd have to lower the down payment significantly if I did that structure. I get it. I get that structure. He's wrapping it to us. It's almost like a master lease agreement. But in that sort of agreement, now I can't depreciate my asset, if that makes sense. That's a big reason to buy real estate, so that I can get the tax savings. But if I wrap real estate, I don't get the tax savings. So I would do it. Yes, I'm saying yes, but unfortunately.
Well, no. So okay, let's take a step back. So there's no other way to get the depreciation benefits.
I'd have to be on title to get depreciation benefits, and with a wrap, I'm not. And I'm okay with the wrap structure because I still get my cash flow, but I essentially would need to lower my down payment significantly, knowing that I'm not technically going to own the property or be able to depreciate the property. And we're talking hundreds of thousands in tax savings. With accelerated depreciation and cost segregation right now, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars that you can take off your tax bill with a purchase of $1.4 million. So that's important, a very important factor for me. So I would say my options at this point in time are lower the down payment for a wrap, or just have him refinance into some longer term mortgage, like 10, 15, 20, 30 years, whatever it may be, as long as it's a longer term mortgage, and then we'll do the deal.
I'll talk with him about the refinance.
Because he's got to do it at some point. He's got to refinance at some point. Why not now? I'm so sorry to cut this short, Joshua. I really have to go. I'm supposed to pick up my boat from the dock real soon here, so I got to head out. But yeah, if he's willing to refinance, we'd get it done.
Okay. All right. Let me talk to him. We'll reconnect.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your time. Talk soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Guys, I can't take over debt. We went this entire negotiation, and then he told me that he has a maturity date in a couple of years. Crazy. Okay, so for all of my people watching, we watched a slew of people show me bad deals. And I'm so sorry if you were one of the people, but it was just bad deal after bad deal after bad deal after bad deal after bad deal. And it doesn't have to be like that, guys. It genuinely doesn't have to. This business is so exorbitantly easy. I have to go, but I already know that within just a couple minutes, I can find exactly what we're looking for. So watch me as I do it right now. Guys, it's simple stuff. And then I really do have to go. I might have to do get out of here, charger. So I'll share my screen as I show you that, hey, we don't need to be doing this stuff. And I get it's hold my hand wholesale, but it's easy. It's easy stuff right here. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you exactly what I would do to, gosh, these damn chargers. Exactly what I would do to get a deal. So check this out, guys. It's genuinely beyond simple. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm in Detroit right now, not literally figuratively. I'm looking in Detroit right now. And if I'm looking for a good deal in Detroit, how am I going to find it? Well, I happen to know that nice houses in Detroit will sell for between $150,000 to $200,000. And I want to find out where they're selling. So I know that nice houses sell for that. I want to find out where. Well, is it here? Is this where nice houses sell for that? No, there's not really any of those sales here, right? So we know it's not there. You can see a pretty clear gap that it's not here, it's not here, it's not here, it's not here, it's not, well, it is in Highland Park, but that's outside the Detroit area technically. But over here, well, wow, holy shit. So this is where to look. That's where the nice houses are selling. Now I go back to for sale. I remove my filter. I draw around this vicinity of where I know that nice houses are selling, right? Even up to here, we saw it. I click apply, and then I'm going to price these things low to high, price low to high. And then I look at, these properties are condemned. The properties that we're seeing here are too shitty. They're condemned. So they're not actually going to work. And then I look through them until I find one. I'm going to flip these. I look through these until I find one that's selling for, or that looks like it's got good bones, because all of these are the things that y'all showed me today. Not feasible. They're too far gone. So I just saw bad deal after bad deal after bad deal after bad deal today. And I really want to find one that's not that. I'm seeing a lot of deals on the outskirts of these markets, but here's one in the center. So I found a property. It's been here for 220 days. I already know it's a bad deal. Why is something there for 220 days? Well, it's because it's a bad deal. So here's one, right? I don't know what this is. It's some sort of brick house. It says Section 8 occupied. Well, that was 149 days ago, so it's probably not Section 8 occupied anymore, right? Because that was a long time ago. So if we zoom into this property, right, they want $72,000. Oh, shit, where did it go? There it is. They want $72,000. Well, I can see a lot of the other properties are listed for significantly less here. I'm going to go ahead and click sold and just see if that changes. Nope, not worth looking at. Do you see all the sales here? 48, 29, 52, 85. You already know it's not worth looking at. So what do? You click the back button until you get back to the other screen here, until we get back to our map, and you look for another one, understanding that properties that are on the outskirts, well, chances are they're on the outskirts because they're not great. So let's look for one that's not on the outskirts. This one's not on the outskirts, that 80,000 right there. Let's zoom into the 80K. Great. The properties around here are listed for significantly more. Looking at the interior of this property, I can see it needs a cosmetic renovation. It needs maybe a roof on the property, definitely some brickwork over here. And as we look through the photos, we can see that the LVP is separating right here. That's great. This is a nice cosmetic rehab. So I will flip my screen and show TikTok what a nice cosmetic rehab looks like. We've got a really shitty looking sink and kitchen, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad, right? Like looking at this, it's just not so bad. Really isn't so bad. So this is a cosmetic rehab. This is not part of the house. This is like a garage or something, but it's not terrible, right? We've got some messy floors in there, but it's not that bad. What about off market? Well, off market works too, but you better get used to having people scream at you, and then more importantly, hearing the number you have dialed is no longer in service. Goodbye, right? So I prefer to just be a sniper and find an awesome deal on market, and I just did. It wasn't that hard. It took me like 2 minutes, guys. It's been here for 50 days, right? It's been here for 50 days. Every property around it is listed for significantly more. If I draw around this property, I'm just looking to see similar assets selling for more than this is listed for. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath with 839 square feet. As I click sold, I'm going to price these things high to low, and I'm going to look at the past 12 months of sales, and I'm going to see if there's anything selling for more in this area. Chances are there are, but we don't know for sure yet. Okay, so the neighbor's house is 900 square feet for $205K. Why scream at you? Because people are on the do not call list and they don't want to be called. Do you hear what I said? The neighbor's house is 900 square feet and sold for $205K. They're asking $80K. So no need to I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. You guys can show me those deals all day long. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to help you out. But we gotta just take a step back and ask ourselves, what would happen if I bought this property? I know we're in the head of a wholesaler. we're inside of a wholesaler's head, and we're trying to understand what a wholesaler does. But being a good wholesaler means you understand what a buyer does, you understand what a seller does, you understand why a buyer buys and why a seller sells, and you really understand that. So we know that a buyer would buy this property. Well, shit, because the neighbor's house is 900 square feet, a brick bungalow that sold in March of 2026 for $205,000. So no need to be like, well, I'm not sure. We can see it. We can see it. We got to take it with a grain of salt, because I can see that a larger house sold for less right beneath it. But as I look around, you know, this is 1,200 square feet for 165. So there's something here. There's something here. It may not be as good as this crazy 205 sale, and maybe that's part of a package deal, but there's definitely something here. I think the ARV is probably like 140, 130, right? I don't think it's 205. I think it's like 140, 130, just based on some of the other things that I glanced at here. So how much does this thing need to get up to 140, 130? Well, damn, not that much. Maybe LVP, paint, kitchen, and maybe we could leave the roof. Maybe we could leave the roof. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, you know? That roof's okay, but this roof's not okay. And then this structure on the back is also terrible. So I guess we're dropping 30 on this thing, 35, 40. I'd say 35, 40 on this thing because it's tiny. It just doesn't need that much flooring, doesn't need that much paint, doesn't need that much roof. It's a tiny property. Maybe $35,000 is what we land on. Well, if I buy it for 79 and I'm in it for 90 off the bat with closing costs, I put in 35, I'm in it for 125. Shit, Richard said it would sell for 135, 140. That doesn't work. So where do we have to get something like this? Well, here's what I would call the realtor and say, hey, looks like neighbor's house got flipped and sold for 140. This sounds like a pretty good deal. Yeah, it's a great deal. Okay, cool. So you're kind of looking for a buyer that buys at 80. Yeah. And then, you know, you buy for 80, you're in it for 90 with closing costs. You bring your 40K rehab to the table. Now you're in it for about 125. And then we sell for 130. Oh, is that a deal that you would do? I mean, maybe you could be my listing agent if we did the deal together. Do you think I should do this deal if you were my listing agent on the back end? Maybe you should make more than 5K. Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And in fact, if I tried to get an investment loan on this, they'd kind of underwrite the deal and see that I'd be underwater and that I wouldn't be able to pay off the lender. So I guess my question for the seller is, are you guys willing to sell at a price where a flipper can make money, or is it kind of only willing to sell if a flipper can lose money? Yeah, that's a good question. I'll go and I'll ask. Great, cool. And then we can maybe have another conversation with your seller on the phone tomorrow, and we could just sort of see if we can come to numbers here. I've got a couple projects going on in Detroit. I'd love to make something happen. Okay, cool. Thanks so much for your time. Bye-bye. And then I hit him with 40K on the phone, and it's not embarrassing for me to hit them with 40K on the phone because, bruh, if I buy it at 80K, I'm going to lose a shit ton of money on the sale. I need to be at 40K. It's the only way, right? It's literally the only way. And I can easily get them to understand that based on the days on market being 50 days, approaching 2 months on market, and then just running through the basic numbers with them. And then what am I going to do once I get it under contract? Bruh, I'm going to take this address and I'm going to throw this shit into Buy Box Cartel. And I'm going to send it to my dispo team. And when I throw it into Buy Box Cartel, we'll see our subject property, right? I mean, let's actually do it for real. I'm genuinely running out of time and I got to go, but I just got to show you guys how simple this shit is. You're going to go ahead and take this right here and you're going to search the address. This is the property we were just looking at. This is not hypothetical, it's real. So I'm looking at the property we were just talking about, and I'm letting it pull up all of the people. I'm letting it pull up all of the people who are buying properties in this area. And there it is. There it is. There it is. Right across the street, right here, somebody bought 16119 Harlow, and he's already done 5 flips in the past year. He's flipping. I can literally contact this guy right now. Look, I can unlock their phone numbers. And I already own a couple of these buyers. I got to keep them forever, but I can click on one of these buyers and I can call them right there. And it's not hypothetical as to whether or not we can actually get in contact with them. If I copy and paste one of these numbers and I put it into my phone, it turns blue because it's linked up to an iPhone and it's real. Right? So that's just a couple seconds of me searching for a deal, and I just call the realtor and I'll run through that logic with them. And then when I get the deal, I'm going to send it to my team. I'm going to post it on Facebook. I'm going to go through Buy Box Cartel. I'm going to unlock some buyers. And then I'm going to sell my deal. And then I'm going to pocket myself a $10,000 check, just as we're doing on Joanne Street on Monday. Right? And if it's a rental deal, now I'm looking more closely at condition than I am after repair value. So you just got to understand why do buyers buy and why do sellers sell? And once you understand those things, you're golden. Now, guys, I am way out of time. I'm so sorry. I got to head out. But I give you my resources right now. These are the resources I have available to you. Everybody's like, how do I start? How do I get, is this real? How I got to learn more about this. Well, there's a couple resources I have. I've got Hold My Hand Wholesale. You see all the people who brought me dog shit deals today. And I was like, well, now this is a little bit rough because of this and this. And I was very nice to them and I held their hand through the process, hence Hold My Hand Wholesale. Hold their hand through the process. And this is what we do for you. You find something terrible and I respectfully tell you that it's terrible. And then you go and find something good and I sell it for you on the live stream and you make $10,000. And if you don't get a hold of me on the live stream, great. Send it to my team. They'll sell it for you and you make $10,000. I mean, shit, somebody sent my VA Mara a deal 2 days ago. She sold it for $17,000. EMD got submitted today. So that's Hold My Hand Wholesale. If you're already an investor, you just want to skip the line and talk to me one-on-one, cool. Book me for a one-on-one call via the link in my bio. If you want to buy a house for $0 down to live in, you're not an investor, but you think owning real estate's a good idea. Great. Me too. Join American Dream Project, right? We've got a group for buying houses to live in. We've got a group for wholesaling houses and buying houses to invest in. And if you want to talk to me, you can book a call in my bio. Anyways, Hold My Hand Wholesale is $20. It's $20. Bro, the vape in your pocket right now, that shit costs more than Hold My Hand Wholesale. So anyways, I must head out. I simply must head out. Thank you guys for showing me these deals today. I appreciate it. I think it's a really good learning lesson. And honestly, guys, we will have more conversations probably next week because today is Friday. And I'm gonna go hop on my boat. So guys, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm sorry about the wheel spin. I ran a little bit longer than I was supposed to. I was supposed to get off 20 minutes ago, but I just wanted to show you guys exactly how to do this. Wholesaling does not cost money. And yes, that shit can change your life. So I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace out. All right, gang. The link is in my bio for all the resources. Have an amazing rest of your Friday. Take some time to enjoy yourself this weekend, and we will get right back at it on Monday. See you guys. YouTube, what's up? I'm heading out. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And we will catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye.